step in your river, and it takes me deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? We are live. Welcome to the Young Lion Podcast. We're here on Tuesday night because that's what we do on Tuesday night. We come together and we talk about stuff. And you are in the Lion's Den. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
Yes, sir, Young Lion TV. And listen, thank you to everybody who's already in the chat watching right now. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit that like button and share this video because we are live. And the live algorithm never likes us because of the stuff that we talk about and the topics that we touch on. It's real stuff. We're here. The Young Lion Podcast is a group of friends and family members that come together and talk about life and culture and politics and relationships and everything that we've experienced in life, mistakes that we've made and things that we want to help other people not make those mistakes, all from the standpoint of us following Jesus and how that has helped us in life. So if that's something that you want to get behind or you want to see grow, make sure you guys hit that like button and share this video. But first, sitting with me is my brother, sitting to my left, my Asian brother, Mr. Chang Simone in the building.
What's up? How's everybody?
Yes, sir. It's a Philly thing, huh?
It is a Philly thing.
What's a Philly thing? Oh, the Eagles.
Yeah.
He's always repping the Eagles. Every time I see a post from the Philadelphia Eagles, it always says,
I'm repping Young Lions.
it always says, Moon of Jatan like this. Every time I see a post from the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm like, he loves the Eagles so much. All right.
It's my team, man.
Of course, holding it down on the other couch, we got my brother-in-law, but he is the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, Mr. Build Right himself, Mr. James Garcia in the building.
Salt and pepper goatee look good on you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
Jake
I
is
like
beating me though.
Showing the wisdom stripes there, you know? And then, of course, rocking the Young Lion hat and his new jacket from South Africa.
Hey.
I like that
Oh
thing.
yeah,
It's really nice.
Yeah, that's my big brother, but he's everybody's big brother. He is the coach. He is the preacher, the teacher, the people reacher, Mr. Jacob Eugene Evans III.
And his birthday is tomorrow.
His birthday is tomorrow. That is
Happy
true.
birthday.
And his son's birthday was Sunday. So, it's overshadowing when you have a child that's birthday is right by yours.
That's how I like it, though.
Yeah. Who cares about
Well,
your
mine
birthday?
is the same day as Lisi's. So.
That's true, and that's you've been overshadowed since she was born. But speaking not to overshadow you, last but not least is our favorite producer in the world. She's been holding us down for a while now and doing a great job. We love her. She's our mother, Miss Angeli Lopez.
It still looks dark.
It looks better on the stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So listen, Thanksgiving is coming. Everybody's getting ready. We were just talking about what we're gonna be doing on our menus. This is one of the favorite holidays of the year because you get to like really, be around family, cook some good food. Everybody comes together and just enjoys the feast.
Eat too much, watch football.
Eat too much and watch football, man. Get some good desserts. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, we are.
And then after that, it's Christmas time, man.
Yeah.
Jeff, shout out to Jeff. He said, "Who's the best?" He says, "Who's the best quarterback, Elway or Manny?" Who's Manny?
Manning.
Peyton Manning.
I think he meant Manning. Yeah, he said Manny. He said, "You guys be the highlight of my week." Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I saw his
Yeah,
post
thank
on
you,
Facebook. I wrote on there. I said, "You got to go with Tom Brady. He has the most rings, man.
Tom Brady,
Yeah, Tom. Tom's the GOAT, man.
the GOAT.
He's the goat."
Oh, my cousin Yvonne is watching. Hey, Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne.
Hey,
Hello.
But yeah, man. So listen, if you guys want to support what we do, we got shout out to the Patreon members in the chat. I see Courtney in there. I see Theris. I see Jeffrey is definitely a king level Patreon member. We appreciate you.
Jeff.
But yeah, if you guys want to become a part of the Patreon and join the Pride for as little as $3 a month, you can head on over to that link you see at the bottom, and it's also in the description. It is patreon.com/youngliontv. And we have several different tiers there for how much you are willing to support or feel being led to support what we're doing, because we're trying to grow the Pride and grow these conversations and grow our reach. We've been growing a lot over the last year. It's been incredible as we've been posting and really trying to focus more on growing this thing. I mean, just in 6 months, we've grown, over 20,000 followers. So that's, it's amazing to see you guys supporting in that way. We're getting a lot of love online, a couple videos with millions of views. It's awesome. So if you guys want to support that, go to the Patreon. And also, we do have a Cash App for those that just, appreciate the conversation and want to throw a little donation. You can do that too, to keep the lions fed over here. And also, we have merch. As you can see, we got hats and T-shirts and stuff like that. If you go to the link in the description, you can get all that stuff as well. But the best thing you can do is, like I said before, like the video, share this. If you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Make sure you're aware when we go live. All the people on Rumble, shout out to you. I know Stan is watching over there. Stan, we miss him on the live stream. But yeah, support in any way you can. We appreciate it. All right. So, anything you guys want to touch on before we get started on some topics?
No, man, let's go.
Let's go. So, first thing I want to talk about is, did you guys catch any of I didn't watch it, but did you guys get any of the clips from the GOP debate?
I saw a lot of clips.
A lot of clips from that. Not really. So, people were saying that it was a pointless debate because Trump is the clear front runner for the GOP, but it was interesting because there was a guy who kind of stood out when you see the clips and you see like the reaction from the people. And it was an Indian guy, one of your people, your kinfolk, James.
He was coming
your
at
family
them.
Because he was doing remember you were talking about how when you saw Trump on the debate stage and him kind of pull the curtain back on the rest of the politicians, and like when he came at Hillary and was like, yeah, I know how this works because I gave you money. When he did that thing, that kind of connected with a lot of people that felt like the political game has become such a circus, and it's been so like there's clearly this smoke and mirrors that we all get fed as we watch these debates, as we watch the whole pomp and circumstance of the political season, especially around the presidential season. That people were getting tired of that, and to see a guy get up there and kind of expose it the way that he did kind of touched people. So Vivek opened up the debate in a kind of interesting way. I'm going to play a clip from that so we can see how he started his opening. Here we go.
Swami, let me turn to you. Please make your case. Why should you be the nominee and not the former president?
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, I mean, Christian, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation? Answer the question. Go.
Mr. Ross.
Sorry. This is how we get our country back. We need accountability because this media rigged the 2016 election. They rigged the 2020 election with the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
and they're going to rig this election.
Your time is up.
Accountability.
Let me turn to
That's how we
Governor
unite this country.
Christie. Why you?
So that was his opening statement at the debate for his case for why he should be the presidential nominee.
He came out.
He came
with
for the
fire.
jugular right away. Called out the head of the RNC, Ronna McDaniel, because she came in as this darling that they propped up.
Which is Mitt Romney's.
Niece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And ever since she came in, they've clearly been on this mission of establishment. Look, he made a great point. They're doing this debate on NBC with a bunch of reporters that are clearly against them.
Yeah.
The DNC would never do that.
I mean, she's grinning and she's loving it.
Right.
I was going to say, when you said with Trump, right? Trump broke the political blue wall.
Right.
That's really what he did.
The third wall.
third
right?
wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He broke that by because these are things politicians, whether blue or red, would never reveal in terms of the inner workings of how political campaigning, lobbyists, donation. He did something that resonated with people. Now, though I appreciate what Vivek is doing here, he's sort of gotten the playbook.
You're right. I feel like he's doing the Trump playbook.
He's doing
right
the Trump
now.
playbook,
He's like,
you know what I mean?
I'm the brown Trump, guys. Come on. Come on. Don't you
Right.
see?
Because it's working for him.
Yeah.
It's working. But the thing with Trump is he is an original in that sense because
Yeah.
he did something because he's
We've
not
never seen
we've
before.
never seen before. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, we all jumped. Everybody, people who were already on the fringes of politics is a sham. When he did that, he resonated with people who were already questioning the inner workings of politics. That's
Right.
what he resonated with.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it
Exactly.
turns out to be a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think like, all what Vivek is saying is true, but at the same time, like, what are your intentions?
Right.
You know, I think that's the important thing. Like,
And that's the hard thing to really know. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's what people are struggling with him is like, is this authentic?
Yeah.
Or is this
because there's been a lot of inconsistency.
Does he
Right.
really care?
right? Does he really believe in what he's saying, or is
Or
he
he's
just
taking
trying
the
to
route,
yes, to
he's
get
like-
those? Because Trump is the clear front runner, like
They
you know.
know.
So if he can
Yeah.
kind of get some of those votes,
Is he crafty?
Yeah.
Is he crafting something? You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
Or
He is a good talker, man.
He's good.
But I'll tell you what, you can clearly see that the establishment is also against him. Like,
Yeah.
they because when, and I'm going to show this, like after the debate was over, there's two people that they are clearly trying to back as like the ones who are in the front runners for the GOP.
Yeah, I saw some of them articles.
Yeah, I'm going to show some of them.
I-
So let me
I was gonna
show
say.
another
I was gonna
clip.
say
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Like I saw lots of clips, and I saw clips of Nikki Haley talking too.
Yeah,
It don't seem like it seemed like he's the one that had the upper hand over all of them. But
Right.
there's these articles that are saying that she won the debate.
Yeah.
But then you go on, like, PBD did a poll.
yeah,
He did a poll
with actual people,
with actual people who click.
right?
You know.
And
Oh,
vote,
yeah, no
and
doubt.
vote,
And he
yeah.
has
And
millions
it was
of people.
it was like a couple 100,000 people voted
Yeah.
on this poll. Yeah.
So I think it was like 90% said that Vivek won.
yeah,
Well, they're all truly politicians.
Yeah.
Vivek is.
right. So
Yeah.
when you look at the New York Times or any of these establishment, publications, they're gonna try to point you in the direction of the politician, the establishment person
Yeah.
who's still. Because Vivek, even I'm gonna play this clip. He even calls her out for the Ukraine stuff and the warmongering.
Ukraine is not a paragon of democracy. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. It has consolidated all media into one state TV media arm. That's not democratic. It has threatened not to hold elections this year unless the U.S. forks over more money. That is not democratic. It has celebrated a Nazi in its ranks, the comedian in cargo pants, a man called Zelensky, doing it in their own ranks. That is not democratic. More facts for you that you won't hear from the mainstream in either party or the mainstream media. The regions of Ukraine that are occupied by Russia right now in the Donbass, Luhansk, Donetsk. These are Russian-speaking regions that have not even been part of Ukraine since 2014, that other people probably couldn't name those provinces for you. Those are the hard facts. And so to frame this as some kind of battle between good versus evil, don't buy it. And I'd like the likes of the sharpest of the war hawks on Ukraine, Nikki Haley, to have some accountability and answer. Do you want to use U.S. taxpayer money to fund the banning of Christians?
Yeah.
That is actually what's happening. They're using the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. They have banned them. The Ukrainian parliament just did this last week, supported by our dollars. And I think you owe it to the American people, Nikki, to at least this one time at least condemn.
Thank you. That's time.
At least to
Mr.
condemn
Ramaswamy,
their
thank
banning
you.
of Christians.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
Or else
thank
we're
you.
talking out of both sides of
Mr.
our mouth.
Ramaswamy, thank you.
Yeah.
She is hot, boy.
Bro, and like
It's just the
she
truth.
during the debate she called him scum.
Yeah.
She called him scum, like
So
because she was
She
making
got
this whole
so-
case about TikTok and stuff like that, and he called her out. He was like, "Your daughter's on TikTok."
yeah, she got triggered like a mug. Like you want somebody like that
And she,
as a president?
she was like, "Keep my daughter's name out of your voice."
yeah.
And then and so like of course all of the media attacked him like, oh, he brought up her daughter like as if her daughter is some child. Her daughter is like 20 something years old. You know what I mean?
I mean, regardless, it's true.
Right.
Like, what
What
are we
is-
talking about? Are we playing a game? Like,
Yes, that's the point.
It is a game.
yeah.
It's a game, bro.
It's literally a game.
But the thing is, we're not playing a game with this country. When it goes down, we're not laughing then.
Exactly.
You know,
But
and that's the issue.
People that were there were saying that Ronna McDaniel in the audience was saying, you know, he's such an asshole. He's not getting a cent from us. And that shows you how they control who the public will know about, because they can. The fact that he has the money to run a campaign, and Trump was the same way, was the only reason why they could get ahead of the squeezing of the RNC and the DNC. The fact that we have these two like committees that control who
what it
gets
is.
the funding, like that's crazy.
or who gets on to
Debate
the
stages.
debate stage. Larry Elder
Yeah.
had an issue the last debate,
Right.
where they didn't take this poll. What was the poll that predicted Donald Trump winning?
The Rasmussen.
Rasmussen
Yeah.
was the only one that predicted Trump to win.
Right.
So he submitted. You need to submit two polls where
Right.
you get
That
like
shows your
1%.
percentage points. Yeah.
Mhm. And he that was one of them.
Right. But then they rejected.
But then they
it.
rejected it like that same day. And he was like,
Yeah, those
well,
are the games that they play.
let me give you another one, which I'm polling 1% also.
Right.
They didn't let him. Why?
Right.
You know
Because
what I'm
they want
saying?
to
Like-
keep certain voices off the debate stage, which I wish they probably were wishing they could keep Vivek off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's such a game, man. It's a swamp.
Yeah. Let me see. I think this is another.
Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a $5
Yeah.
million bribe from Ukraine. That's why we're sending $200 billion back to that same country. The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family. Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire. So I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right,
In
Mr.
which case we've got
Ramaswamy.
two of them on stage today.
That was a shot at DeSantis when he said that.
But he's correct. He's right. He's right
He
about
called out the fact, and this is something that people don't look into and they don't know about
We
because you
don't,
won't
yeah.
have access to that information.
Right.
No.
She sat on the board of Boeing, got a military contract.
Yeah.
So of course she loves going to war.
it. Right.
I'm so glad he's on there.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the fact that he's even calling that out and bringing that to people's attention. Like she made herself
That's-
a multimillionaire through
that's
her
why she
political
said-
connections.
let's bomb the heck out of Hamas.
Yep.
Let's bomb Palestine. That's why she's, she wants war.
Right. Because she gets rich off of it.
Yeah.
They all get rich off.
They all
That's
do.
why they want war.
Military contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, defense contractors. Sorry.
So there's one more moment right before the debate was over that he dropped one last gem on them on the people.
We've talked a lot about foreign wars tonight, but we're in the middle of a war right here at home. It's a war not between black and white or Democrat and Republican. It's between those of us who believe in our founding ideals and love this country and a fringe minority who hates the United States of America. And I think it's going to take a commander-in-chief to lead us to victory in that war, who first of all knows that we're in a war. Second of all, can't be captured by the special interests along the way. But third is from the next generation, somebody with fresh legs to lead us to victory. I'll shut down the deep state. I'll declare economic independence from China. I'll keep us out of World War III, and then revive national pride in this country. I also want to close with one message to the Democrat Party. End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee. We know he's not even the president of the United States. He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put up so we can have an honest debate. Biden should step aside, end his candidacy now so we can see whether it's Newsom or Michelle Obama or whoever else.
All right,
just
Mr.
tell us the
Ramaswamy,
truth so we can have an
your
honest
time is
debate.
up.
Drop that on
I
him
didn't see that
at
one.
the end of the debate. That was his closing statement.
He's running for VP.
Yeah, I mean, like, so afterwards, anyone who watched it, anyone who was a normal human being was like,
He won.
come on, like this. Anyone who knows what realness is, and not even saying that you can fully trust this guy, or not even saying that we know if he believes everything he's saying, but the fact that he just dropped those points, those real true facts on in the middle of a debate where they were doing all the political dances around these questions. They're talking about the Israeli conflict over and over again, and whether we should go send troops or whether we should send money, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And he's just like hitting us with the facts of the matter.
Through those truth bombs.
Right.
And let's be honest, a lot of people on the right, if we want change, we have to call this stuff out. If we truly love this country and we want to see this country be governed properly, especially in a godly way, these kind of things, these politicians that are backing this kind of system, that are trying to silence voices like him, we got to call that out.
Right.
We have to.
Yeah. And we have to understand that they don't want those voices speaking.
No.
So that's why they're going to suppress them. That's why it has to be someone who's a multimillionaire to even be able to get on that
shut them up.
stage. You can't shut them up.
Right.
You can't squash them with funding. I want to show this article from the New York Times that goes back to what Moons was speaking about, where they showed who won the debate. So it says the winner was pretty much Nikki Haley. She certainly beat all the boys, and they have a ranking here. Can you pull this up, Mom? So they have a ranking here. I'll show you just the third debate here. First place, Nikki Haley. Second place, Ron DeSantis.
Wow.
Third place, Chris Christie. Then Tim Scott, and
Tim
the
Scott
way
just dropped out.
Tim Scott did horrible at the debate. People were saying like he was a snooze fest. Like,
Right.
why was he even there?
And this is the problem with the media. Come
They
on, man.
just straight. You're really gonna put him last?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Like,
that's all a
It's
lie.
just straight up disingenuous.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're really gonna put him last. Like, he made such a name for himself after that. For the people that really watched it, the mainstream press hates him, so they're not gonna.
But why would the Republicans have MSNBC hosted? Come on now.
That's a great question, and I think it's because they're captured by the establishment.
I thought that was weird too, dude.
Yeah.
I think
this makes no
I thought
sense
it was
at all.
weird.
I think they want to put a clear separation between what the GOP is and what Trump is.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? So they
That's what it
need
is.
need these left leaning news outlets to prop up these more centrist establishment GOP members to put that in front of people. And then also what it does to the left is it says, see, these are reasonable Republicans.
Yep.
Yeah.
These are the reasonable ones. We don't like them,
Right.
but these at least they're not Trump. It separates him. It makes him seem more crazy.
Right.
So
That's true.
Yo,
Yeah.
can you imagine a debate on like Joe Rogan or something, the internet would blow up.
Dude, it would go
It will blow up.
crazy. But that's what he made a great point. Like this should be Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson. Like who else? Who else did he mention?
He said Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Yeah. Bro, like think about how many eyes would be on that. Hey, here's an article from ABC. Pull this up, Mom. You can see who they love. Because who was first place New York Times? This is the headline from ABC. Haley spars with Republican rivals at third primary debate as Trump still looms. It's showing that, Haley is the one. Right? This is the most establishment, like war hawkish version of the presidential
But the
candidates.
narrative, which you see on every show, every movie right now, is women can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're propping up women in that way.
You know what her response was to? Oh, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
I was just like, she got so emotional
She
though.
did.
You
She
saw
did.
how emotional,
But
like,
people relate
to the name
that.
calling. You're scum.
You're a scum.
Keep my daughter's name out of your mouth.
No, she said, keep my daughter's name out of your voice. What? That's not even the same. But then she said, and then she had this other weird response to the 3-inch heels thing. She was like, actually, I wear 5-inch heels, and my heels are not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition.
What?
Okay.
And everybody was like, what does that mean? I'm confused by that. And then other people were like, she just loves war so much she can't stop talking about ammunition and guns. Yeah, it was crazy to see. Here's another one. Third Republican debate. This is from the BBC. 4 takeaways from the Miami event. Who do you see front and center? Yeah. The two that everyone
front runners.
Haley and DeSantis took aim at one another on several occasions. Like they don't even want to bring up Vivek and how much he stirred up that debate. I saw people actually saying that he Ramaswamy flounders and digs himself in a hole, and
I saw articles like that too.
I think the Breakfast Club said that
sad to say this, but especially from the political side, right? I think what the Republicans don't want to happen is when you have self-made men coming in, which we saw with, like I said, I always mention Ross Perot.
Yeah.
When they come in and they shake up the party, they don't like that.
Yeah.
They want people who are basically career politicians that use their career to build their wealth after the fact.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't
because then you're compromised
you're
to the
compromised.
party.
We can tell you what to do.
Yeah.
We know which way we know, but when you have money, especially when you come in with already self-made, and you could say what you want, that's what they don't like.
Yeah.
But across the board, Democrat or Republican, but specifically we're seeing.
Because look what they're doing to RFK. He had to leave and run independent. He's running independent now.
Yeah.
I think that's just everything. Like that's the world.
Yeah.
They have the gatekeepers and they try to keep you out.
Right.
And when people get in there that they didn't let in, they're like, hold up.
Yeah.
But people are noticing because we know. Come on, man.
Yeah.
See, I think that we could see someone like he. Even though yes, there's something about Vivek that I'm not sure of. What he's saying
is the truth.
Is the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he could be using that truth just to garner favor and
It
gain
could be.
power.
But it's still true.
But the fact
It's
that
still
he's
true.
putting it in front of people for them to hear it is more than we can say for these other politicians won't even go there.
No, they won't.
Yo, they'll dance around it like
Yeah.
you said earlier.
Yeah. They pretend. They want to keep that curtain, that veil in front of us.
I think they don't. What they really don't want to happen is they don't want non-career politicians coming in because those people cannot be controlled.
Right.
Like Trump.
They don't want
They're
that.
scared.
Yeah, they don't like that. They don't like businessmen. They don't like people who, like I said, they just don't like that. You know.
Well, you need a level of deception in order to do the things that you want to get done.
Yeah.
You need a level of veiling, right?
Yep.
So, and then you want to act like you're showing what's behind the veil, but your power isn't in the veil. Like, especially if you're doing evil, right? Your power's in the veil. So, and sometimes you use truth to bring a veil. People get deceived because you mix in truth with that. That's why, like James was saying, like I'm not sure about Vivek, but he's still bringing truth. But we can't you can't get caught up in that either.
No.
Where it's like, all right, this guy's all about truth. No, you don't know that.
Yeah.
You know? But you if something is true, you have to recognize it. You know, when somebody's speaking the truth, you have to recognize they're speaking the truth.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're good.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, here's an example right here. Who did he bring up when he said, tell us who's really gonna run? Like,
Newsom.
stop. Yeah, he brought up Gavin Newsom, right? We just showed the video last week of Newsom in China with meeting with Xi Jinping and wrestling with little boys on basketball courts.
Stumbling on little boys.
But then this week, a video goes viral of the scene in San Francisco. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
So San Francisco this week.
Oh, I heard of.
Take a look at this. They totally removed all the homeless people. Remember how we would show clips of San Francisco and these streets were just littered with homeless encampments, tents everywhere, people pooping in the streets. Remember they had the poop app.
Robbing cars.
Right. So guess who's coming to California?
G.
Xi's coming. So they totally got rid of all the homeless, cleaned up the city in a matter of days.
Those are brand new pots found at Home Depot right there.
Right, because the president of China is coming.
Of course.
And we talked about this before. It reminds me of when the district manager is coming for that visit, right, to your store. You get everything in shape.
You clean
it up. All the things that you couldn't figure out how to get done ever, somehow you get done. And you get it all cleaned up and fixed up for the boss. So is this the boss coming to visit?
Oh,
Yes.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, but again, like, what are you really doing? Like we know when we were kids, right? When we know mom is coming home real quick, what are we doing? We're stuffing stuff under the couch.
Yeah, right. Right.
Mom's looking at us like we're
Shoving it in the closet.
shoving stuff in the closet.
Yeah, right.
Hoping she don't open that closet
Right,
and everything
right,
falls
right,
out.
right.
Like that's what
You
were
were
doing.
Xi Jinping.
But it makes you think like, yo, who's really in charge here?
Right? For them to clean up like
China.
Yeah, like for Newsom, like he was just there. Now he's coming. They totally clean up a city that they've spent.
Wait, I got a skit.
Go ahead.
While he was wrestling boys, Xi Jinping was like, you know what? I come to your country. He's like, can it wait?
Right.
I come to your city.
Look, that's the scene from Coming to America when Lisa was gonna come into his apartment. Remember?
I come to your city, right?
Yeah, that's how it is. Gavin Newsom was that dude on the first date where the woman's like, "Can I come back to your place?" And he's thinking about how dirty his place is. He's like,
Let me make some calls.
Let me give me a couple hours.
When can you come next week?
Yeah.
I saw a tweet where he admitted that.
That's what I'm about to
you
play.
about to play?
Come on, bro. You already know. So, like, because people were calling this out. They were saying, like, yo, is this because Xi Jinping?
Yeah, of course it is.
You haven't been able to clean up this city in years.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all the homeless people are gone. Literally all of them.
Yeah.
They have a poop app.
But again,
They got a poop app.
where'd they go?
Right. Where are they?
Yeah, they put them somewhere.
Right.
They're all piled up in a closet somewhere.
if they're alive.
Right.
Oh no.
So this is Gavin Newsom addressing the rumors.
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true
Black guy's laughing.
because it's
It is.
true. But it's also true.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
That's
come
true.
on, man. People aren't
That's
stupid.
true because it's true. But it's also true for months and months and months prior to APEC, we've been having different conversations.
Oh, we've been having some different conversations.
You explained a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. You broke it down.
What
We've been having conversations about how we need to clean this up for Xi Jinping. Like, it's crazy when you think about how quick, because we were just there.
Yeah.
Like, how quickly they were able to accomplish something that they said they couldn't do. That we've thrown tens of millions of dollars at, if without hundreds of millions of dollars at, the homeless problem. People have $200,000 a year salaries to clean up the homeless problem. and they fixed it in a matter of a couple days because the president of China.
Some of them got more than that.
Yeah.
Close to 500,000
Yeah.
a year salaries. Like,
Salaries.
what are we doing?
Yeah. Simply put, these politicians are using all these homeland crises to get rich.
Yep.
That's just all it is.
Yep.
They need the city to be catastrophically in a certain condition, so that way they can justify all the phony baloney jobs and price hikes and all the budgets and all that. They need that.
Yep.
You know, they need it. You need us.
Yeah. You need us because we're the ones who know what's best for you.
Right.
Meanwhile, you know, the guy that he said is not really running the country right now. This is a big slip up from him.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
He called him booty juice.
He calls Pete Buttigieg booty juice.
So booty
Thank
juice.
you, Secretary Buttigieg.
He called him Secretary Booty Juice.
Somebody help me.
Like,
That
yo,
man.
everybody knows it's a joke. Like, did this guy,
Yeah.
like, you don't even see people trying to defend him anymore.
No.
It's just that much of a joke.
It's sad actually.
Secretary Booty Juice. That's better than we were calling him Booty Judge back when he was
Booty
trying
Judge.
to run for office. Booty Judge. Booty Juice. Secretary Booty
It's only funny
Juice.
because he's homosexual.
Booty Juice. Oh man. Yeah. And then meanwhile, the UFC event. Did you guys see this?
I saw Trump was there.
Yeah, Trump.
I saw that.
Tucker Carlson
Tucker and
and Kid Rock came out and got a standing ovation. People going crazy. But everyone hates Trump.
A whole stadium of racists.
Everyone hates Trump and Tucker Carlson. But the whole arena went crazy. And then this guy comes out. What's his shirt say? Trump was indicted before anyone on Epstein's client list. Like, he came out. Out with wearing that shirt.
Yeah, he speaks out a lot.
Trump was indicted before anyone on Epstein's client list. Like, yo, people are starting to get bold, man.
A bunch of the fighters have said that.
That's true.
Israel Adesanya said that. Where's the list?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, people speak out about that all the time. Dude, I was showing Liz this one of the plugins that I bought, just random. I like for mixing music, and one of the companies that like I use all the time. Shout out to Boz Digital. It's a great plugin company, and I just got one of their new plugins. And I'm looking through the presets, and one of the presets is called "Epstein Didn't Kill Himself."
Oh no! What?
Cracking up, dude. I was like, just like a little Easter egg in there. You know what I mean? Like, it was just hilarious. Like that you see more and more people just speaking out on this stuff. Like,
yeah.
You
know who speaks a lot against it? Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr. Yeah. She definitely does. I mean, she got her whole show canceled.
Yeah.
A lot of people have. People know the truth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. Most people know, but I think a lot of people are just afraid. The last few years were so tumultuous that a lot of people have just been afraid of speaking out.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of going away now.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've hit that tsunami's kind of died out.
Yeah.
Of people feeling afraid. So.
Well, there's one person that Jake and Jamie knows. He hates Trump, Edgardo Centron.
Oh yeah.
He can't stand Trump, and he's always saying about Biden. I was like, he must be in the dark ages or something.
Well, listen, a lot of people have eaten up a lot of what the mainstream news has given them, and they haven't done a lot of research on their own. So, just like let me pull this up real quick because this is another thing. You see these protests. Someone put this video up on Twitter. You see these protests happening everywhere, and it's like somebody is funding this.
We set it up already.
Because
hundreds of people around.
How do you have all of those pre-made signs ready to go?
Just
those things cost money.
Of course.
Those aren't homemade signs.
Yeah.
Somebody's funding this stuff. And we don't really, and we said this when it came to the BLM riots
yeah.
too. Like how is there pallets of bricks placed randomly around cities? Gasoline cans,
gasoline pipes, metal,
stuff.
everywhere.
Just before anyone shows up to protest, there's stuff already there. It's like it's like a video game that's made for rioting. It's like here's your weapons.
Do you think a lot of people just don't understand the idea of the agents of chaos? They don't understand. So a lot of people try to rationalize things from the standpoint like, well, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Why would they do that?
Right.
And they don't understand how behind the scenes it's easy to manipulate people that are already fired up. But even in those videos you showed, there were people who were filming people coercing other people to do these things. You know
handing out bricks, telling them like, just throw it through that window. I mean, when you look at just as young, stupid kids or boys, you would be in a group and everyone is like, maybe you guys are like, remember like throwing acorns across the street or something. Right. And then there's always that one kid that has to go too far and throws it at a car. You know what I mean? And then the car stops and then it causes a big.
You're talking about a real story.
I'm talking about a real story. But it's like, but you always have that one person that amps it up a little bit. And that happens in these riots too, where it's like, at first they're picketing around a store and then one person goes up and checks to see if the door is unlocked and it's not unlocked. And then the next person runs up and tries to kick it in and it doesn't move. And then the next person comes and I'll do it. And he kicks it all the way in. One person runs in and comes back out. Then the next person runs in and grabs something. The next thing you know, everybody runs in there. And like, that's how stuff escalates.
Right. No, what I'm suggesting, I agree with you. But what I'm suggesting is this. What people struggle to understand is within that crowd is an agent of chaos.
That's the thing.
A paid agent.
It's easy to get someone to go in there and be the one to spark it off.
Yeah, that person is not a person frustrated runs up. The person who sparks, initiates the fire is actually an agent of chaos.
Right.
They're paid to do that.
Right.
Oh, you mean Mr.
Ray Epps?
Can I say his name?
Ray Epps.
Ray Epps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were videos. There was videos that even in the BLM riots, it was.
Remember the umbrella guy?
The umbrella guy.
Yeah.
Where it showed this one black girl questioning a bunch of younger white females.
Why
like,
did you give this to him?
Why did you give this to him? Like they showed that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not out here for this. Why would you give him? Because they gave out bricks to young black kids and then drove off.
Yeah. Throw this.
Yeah.
So those are paid agents of chaos. And that's what we're talking about. We're saying that within these systems, and you can amplify it to the political side of it too.
Right.
That, I'm sure Vivek, guys like that who are talking about the connection of sitting on the board of, what's the company? Not
Boeing?
Boeing.
Yeah.
All these defense contractors or whoever it is. Why can't we? Why isn't the public aware of where your politicians are sitting?
Mm-hmm.
How much money they're making?
Yeah, yeah.
I think even like listening to this, there's a level of accountability in like what you tell people and how you tell it. Because just like the riot thing and just thinking about certain people, you can't tell certain things because you know how they're going to react, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why sometimes you don't say stuff or you got to say it in the right way. Like if I tell somebody something, one person, I know that person might completely go to judgment. And then if I'm talking about somebody else, I might say they did this, but then they're going to take, if I tell one person, they're going to be like, now they're going to hate that person.
Right.
Right.
They're going to immediately go to like, nah, F that.
But if I tell somebody, and I'm just speaking about a story, right? But if I'm talking to somebody else about it, they're going to react in a totally different way.
Yeah.
They're not going to hold it against them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not even going to be like, oh, they're evil or whatever. They're like, oh, okay, I see where they're, it's a whole different reaction.
Right.
So even in that, like, holding community, holding people accountable, recognizing how we react to things, how we're triggered by things.
Yeah.
All these things matter. But when you're just trying to get a reaction from people, which is a lot of what we're dealing with on social media. Yeah. Right? On a lot of these platforms, people want reactions or people are literally reacting.
They're doing reactions, right?
Yeah. This is an issue we have. Like everybody just wants a reaction. They want to see how somebody reacted to it, so that they can talk about it. So I think we missed the point.
Right.
We missed the point of we're not like when you're talking. We're like what we're doing here. We're not doing this to point the finger and say be mad at this person, be mad at that person. We're saying be aware, right?
Yeah.
But if you have bad judgment, you're gonna look at it and like, look at these Democrats. Look at all these politicians are horrible. There's no hope for America. America is trash. America is. That's my point. Like it can go so many different ways,
Right.
You know, so you have to be grounded in something. You have to have hope, right? You have to trust in something greater than yourself, or else you can go off the rails. And you're gonna make judgments. You're gonna make assumptions. You're gonna presume things.
Right.
Where now that's why we're so divided. We're so divided because so many people presume things. I can't tell you how many conversations I'll just have with somebody and then they just jump to the conclusion of my intention behind what I'm saying instead of asking me why would I say that or what do you want? What do I mean? They just jump to the conclusion of my intention.
Right.
Right? How many times does that happen on TV? How many times is the media giving people that intention?
Yeah, they always do. They imply intention all the time.
Right. So then like, and I'm just saying because I'm just like as y'all talking, and all these riots and the way it works, like if you are raised up in God, you can't just do that to anybody, right? Like if somebody comes next to me and they're like, "Yo, I got these bricks. What are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm not thinking in that way.
Right.
It's not. I won't even go there because of my mentality, but I might have did that when I was like 20 something. You know, I might have like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You know,
Probably that's why they target them.
Yeah, they target people that age because they know that they're more
Impulsive.
quick. Yeah, they're quick to be
Emotional.
impulsive and emotional.
Although what I saw from some of the clips you shared with me, a lot of young people during that time did film.
They
and
did.
say, yo, this is a setup.
Yep.
I saw a lot
They
of
did.
videos of younger people saying, yo, they're setting this up, yo.
Right.
Look at this. Look at this bricks that was here. Like we said, like a lot more people were very aware. And we got to give them credit. Young people were filming this and saying, this is a setup. They're trying to set us up, yo.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
you can't fall for the traps. You know,
That's what they did on January 6th.
Yeah. I don't know if I spoke about this on here, but like it's interesting how like the word for offense to being offended is in the Greek, like when you talk about it in the New Testament, that word is connected to a trigger for a trap. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's little, to be offended. That word comes from a trigger from a trap.
Yeah. So the fact that you are offended is a trap triggering you into being snared.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That is interesting. All right. Speaking of being triggered, let's talk about how some of our biggest hip hop, someone that we spoke about a couple weeks ago, a man by the name of Rick Ross and Jim Jones. Jake sent me this because this kind of went viral in the hip hop community and in the Christian hip hop community. Because the guy D1, who we played on here before, he called out Jim Jones and Rick Ross, on a podcast. Meek Mills.
Was I think Sway, Rick? He was on Sway?
Was he on Sway?
He was
on Sway. Okay. Yeah. So we'll play that clip first so we can kind of get some background on this. Just to get into like the culture of hip hop and its effect on community and like what he's calling out. So can you pull this up, Mom, please? Thanks.
Jones, you could do better, brother. I love you too much. I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much not to be honest with you. Are you the face of prison reform? Cause are you the face of prison reform? Or are you sitting here on your new song with Ross talking about getting somebody murked and shot at the red light? Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, bro? Cause I did a shoe giveaway in my city and gave out 1,300 pairs of your shoes because they said reform underneath them. And I love that you partnered with a major shoe company and you out here pushing prison reform. But now I got to sit here like, man, this man glorifying getting people killed as of a week ago. Like, what are you doing, bro? Lil Snoop really got killed. That broke your heart. You wear him around your neck. Why are you glorifying the same thing? When my best friend got killed, when Carl got killed, New Orleans know who I'm talking about. When Carl got killed, and I had to go to his funeral and read the eulogy and be part of the funeral, and I got back in my car, Jim Jones.
Okay, so he's calling out the lyrics, calling out the hypocrisy. Meek Mills, of course, we know he's been an advocate for prison reform, but he's on songs still talking about murdering people, you know.
Yeah, which I got to give him credit for, because we don't see this a lot.
Yeah.
Right. You don't see this a lot in the hip hop world.
Right.
So
they call people out for stuff that doesn't matter. They call people out for not being street enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll get called out for that first.
Yeah.
Before anything like this about being a man of principle. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, they are men of principle, but it's
absolutely
it's just principles
Right.
of the street. Right.
Right. Exactly. All right. So let's watch. Rick Ross then responded, of course. The boss.
Better, Jim Jones, you could do better. Rick Raw, you could do better. I gotta see you do better. Wait. Little man, whoever you is, until you feed the kids where you from for 20 years straight. Don't question Rose. Wait. Until you buy 10,000 bikes, 10,000 trikes. Give all the young girls who pregnant Pampers for Christmas for 20 years straight. Don't question boss. You heard me, little man? Get that basket off your head so you could think clear, little man. You going viral for speaking on niggas' names, not because of your talent, not because of your gift. Go viral, player, off of your wisdom that you sharing. You speaking on Meek Mill. Boy, you know how many niggas died this summer? They released self-destruction. It's niggas dying right now. It's gonna be niggas don't make it to see in the morning. Get that basket off your head, boy, and come together with real niggas around the world. So when your grandma need a kidney, nigga, Meek Mill, you could do.
Okay, that's Ross's response.
Just sound like pride talking.
Yeah. You get with real ninjas. What does that mean? That term is used so much, especially in hip hop.
Yeah.
But it's always meant to mean somebody who will get down and dirty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's never meant.
Well, even like real is, to me, is honest, but they're not really honest. But like, you're being truthful to yourself, even if you're being disrespectful.
Right.
You're still okay. I'm just disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, what you're saying too, like killers or
just
you
the
know.
culture of creating that as something that's considered real, or something that
Right.
is considered meaningful.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just interesting. All right, so then you got this one. This is him responding to Rick Ross, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gross. First of all, I love you, brother, and I want you to know that because you sounded a little upset in your video reply to me. But I love you too much to not be honest with you. And right now, you're deflecting. I was talking about your lyrical content, and you talking about turkeys. I'm talking about you as a hip-hop OG still glorifying murder and drug dealing in your music. And you talking about turkeys? Bro, more people are streaming your music than eating your turkeys. You can believe that, brother. Oh, then you can make fun of my accent and my hair, brother. That's lightweight, you hear me? What am I doing to help my community? Well, my whole adult life, I've been a middle school teacher. Now I'm a full-time hip-hop artist. Just dropped my 10th album. It's called Uno. You should check it out, actually. I've helped to give out hundreds of thousands of dollars in college scholarships for students around this country. Done financial literacy tours year after year, brother. Shoe drives, toy drives, voter registration rallies, prison ministry. I'm currently a professor at Tufts University teaching the intersection of hip-hop and social change, and I'm a fellow at Harvard University. Rick Ross, first of all.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing that he said is that he missed the point, right?
Yeah.
He was talking about lyrical content.
Yep.
Right. But Rick Ross went to turkeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he has to show what he does.
Right.
You have to show, and it's like, you can't talk on me because you don't know what I do.
Right.
And this is the theme, I think, that a lot of people bring in, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I do. You don't know what I do. So the next video is Jim Jones, so because he brought up Jim Jones' name too.
Okay.
Right? So he kind of has the same mentality, right? Of talking about what they did, and they feel like even the fact that you can't even be called out, right?
Yep.
About something you put out publicly, right? You put out music publicly, and you can't be challenged on it. You know, and then they go to, again, what did Rick Ross do? I just said this earlier. He went to his intention.
Right.
He did it in a sly way. He said, "You're basically," he said, "you're clout chasing," right? Now, maybe that is his intention, right?
Yeah.
But that's a deflection from the truth. The truth is, it's hypocritical to say one thing and then do another.
Yeah.
Is it not? Right? So, but you don't really know his intention.
Right.
You're saying that to deflect.
Right.
And then a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, that is his intention, right? And that's how people win battles, especially when people don't hold people accountable for the facts and for the truth, and when people are emotional.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just want to play this clip before we go to the Jim Jones thing, because I talked to you about this on the phone. We were talking about it, and because they specifically brought up passing out turkeys, and it made me think of a clip. You know what I'm about to say? He knows it. He knows it. So this is a clip
thinking the whole time
from New Jack City, where Nino Brown, who was the ruthless drug dealer who was, pretty much destroying his entire community, would go around and pass out turkeys at Thanksgiving and be like the hero of the community.
Suspects hand out consumables, and the natives are restless.
Yo, shut the fuck up, man.
Sorry.
10 years as a low-life murderous bum. Nino Brown's out here trying to purchase your conscience, man. I ain't going for this Robin Hood bullshit. Oh, shit. That's the kid I shot.
Chris Rock.
Yo, man, why don't you lose some weight? You look like a ball yeah with a belt around you. Come on, man. Yo, Poppy, yo, man, ease up, baby. What's up? Yo, what's up, yo? Come on, you little bastard. Yo, no. What's up, baby?
Dressed like an African drug lord. Warlord, I mean.
Look at your funky black ass.
Okay, so I just wanted to show that because this scene depicted that very same thing, where it's like, yeah, someone can also on one hand be poisoning the community, and then on the other hand get in their good graces by giving them by feeding them, by passing out free things, by helping the community, because it also plays on their own conscience. This is the way that a lot of people can justify their actions.
Can I add into that?
Go
too?
ahead, absolutely.
Mario Van Peebles wrote that specifically in there, and he said that him and his dad talked about the development of Nino Brown, which of course a lot of black rappers identify with Nino and his persona. But he said he's buying the community. This is Ice-T's character.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other thing that's interesting about this thing is, like you said, you do come in and you do this. You buy the community, because from the drug dealer standpoint, if something goes down in one of these drug sets, these people know you're a lifeline because the politicians aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and the church is not doing what it's supposed to do. You're not gonna rat out.
People are gonna protect.
They're gonna protect him,
right?
And so the rappers personify that, even though they may not be living in that community, they personify that. That's why he said, when I wrote that script, I didn't. The studio said we should do when they tested it out. They said, let's write a sequel. He said no. This character has to die, because if we let this, if there's a New Jack City 2, we've just glorified this character. Which is what a lot of these rappers are missing.
That's what you just said is the point. It's the glorification of this stuff.
Right.
Like, it's one thing to show it, like to say this is what happens, right? But it's a whole nother thing when you're actually glorifying it in a light and trying to act like it's something to desire.
Right.
But
it's totally different.
I feel like the culture of hip hop and a lot of inner city black culture missed the point with these films.
They do.
Yeah.
Because even like they identify with Scarface, they identify with Godfather,
Everyone.
with Goodfellas, but they all die in these movies. It all ends terribly for these
Real
people.
quick with that on that note, I was just watching a movie on Netflix. I forget the name of it, but it was about a drug that they got popular. It's with Evans, Chris Evans. Is that his name?
Pain Hustlers.
Right. And
It's actually pretty good.
Is it?
So I was talking to Leslie about, me and Leslie were watching it, and I said to her, before I even knew it was going to happen, because I didn't know anything about the story, but I just knew like the way they're getting money, right? And the way they're lying. I said, Leslie, every movie that starts like this is going to end bad because they're glorifying the wrong things, right? And eventually, and if you look at it, and this is why I don't understand why people are so enamored with how they got all this money, right? With whether it's that or any, the mob, or they always end badly. It always ends bad.
You should definitely watch it.
Yeah, I
Like,
definitely
it's
will.
a true story too.
I definitely will.
Like, yeah, you can talk about what you were doing and the things you had and the things you got, but eventually it's going to end badly for you. And even if you die on top, so to speak, you can't take that with you.
Right.
And everything you did, if it's in vain in the end, right?
Yeah.
You're going to die, and eventually you're going to have to answer for those things.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, right? Like, okay, fine. You're handing out sneakers and turkeys and stuff. It's a tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not Nino Brown hustling drugs.
Right.
This is a tax write-off.
Right.
This is a philanthropic
charity.
And this is a charity thing that your accountants. You're not even though you're doing something that's the semblances to the movie character, and I know you're worshiping that.
Right.
Speaking to the crowd of people who love hip hop. That's a tax write-off that they get to write off.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
And what's the difference between if you're Nino Brown and you're giving out turkeys and shoes and feeding people on Thanksgiving, but for the rest of the 364 days of the year, you're killing the community, you're shooting
drugs,
people, you're getting everyone hooked on crack and heroin, and it's the same thing with hip hop. If you're constantly feeding the youth, debaucherous and degradative concepts through your music and glorifying it in ways where you see inner city culture becoming more and more just vile.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're the catalyst for where these kids are listening, even though, seriously, who believe Rick Ross is a gangster on the street?
Right. Wasn't he
he's a corrections officer.
Wasn't he a corrections officer that
So
stole
it's
his
like-
name from Freeway Ricky Ross?
Yeah,
like,
come on, man. It's been proven so long. So
Y'all seen that video that I shared with the infants at a party?
Yes. Yeah, we have that one ready to go.
We got that one, bud.
Ready to go?
Yeah, because we was going to show
Matter
that
of fact,
as a
we're
part
gonna
of. Let's bring that up now.
That's the type of stuff that happens.
I was actually making that clip to make a reel out of it. I was so I'm gonna play. So this is a child's birthday party. Okay. Now I showed the clip a couple weeks ago of a child in the car pretending like he's rapping lyrics and pretending like he's shooting a gun that was a Lego.
Right.
Now that's him mimicking what he sees. These kids, they actually gave them guns and money at the kid's birthday party.
Wow. This is actually sad.
Yeah. Let's play this.
No smoke, no smoke. King! Yeah! Yeah!
So, how old do you think that kid is? Well, the one is probably like 2.
That little boy is 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's 2.
The other one is probably like 6 or 7.
But you can't tell me that this is not a sick culture.
So we talked about, I don't know if it was last week when we were talking about, or the week before, we were talking about the daycare thing, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about the ages where there's the 1 to 3 stage, and then there's the 3 to 6 stage, right? And it's funny how it's always threes, right?
Yep.
But the 1 to 3 stage is where kids are playing in terms of mirroring their parents.
Yeah.
They don't even really play with other people.
Yeah.
It's more, the play is always about mirroring their parents,
Right.
right? So then you're getting, so what happens is you see like that 2-year-old, right? He's in that first stage, right?
Yeah.
So he's
looking at, I don't know if that's his older brother
he's
or
copying
what.
the
He's
other
looking
kid.
at him like he just wants to do what he's doing.
Right. He's mirroring.
Right.
And really so that's why you get like people say, oh, they're so cute. Look what
Yeah.
how are they cute? Like, cuteness is based off of something, right? You have to have a relation to something to say that, right? When we say something is cute, what are we relating that to?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how we relate it. So people, that's why I always like, oh, we just want to have fun, or
It's just entertainment.
fun is subjective.
Yeah.
You know, happiness is subjective.
Right.
It has to be founded in something. It has to relate
even
to
the
something.
term entertainment is subjective. Like
Right.
what one person finds entertaining, other people don't find entertaining.
Exactly.
And the concept of entertainment is already like, I think the word breaks down to something that occupies your mind. You know, something to keep your mind occupied.
Right.
But I know like, so when you think about it, just saying, oh, it's just entertainment, even that is setting yourself up for a trap, setting yourself up for a spell to be cast over you.
Yeah.
When you see little kids like this being indoctrinated into a culture that glorifies something like that, like where do you think they're going to be headed from there?
Yeah.
You know, and that clip went viral all over everything. That's why all of y'all were sending it to me. I already had it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, I saw this in Twitter. It was all in the
What
Twitter
was,
timeline.
I mean, I don't have Twitter, so what was the chatter on it?
Oh, of course, everyone is saying like, you know, this is sad. This is like, how is this?
I think people need to see it.
Yeah, how is this like culturally acceptable? Like, and then of course you got a bunch of people saying, you know, he's headed for prison. You know, people making racist comments about black people, and you know, of course you're gonna get that. But it's like you're giving them you give them that when you someone posted that, bro. Yeah. Thinking that it was cute. Like someone filmed that and posted it. You know what I'm saying?
But then the other kid who's older, he's at that 3 to 6 stage, right?
Yeah.
And that stage is now you're not just playing with your parents and mirroring your parents. You're now taking what you mirrored from your parents and now imaging that on each other. Right. You're now playing with each other.
Right.
Not or other people, but you're taking what you learned from your parents.
Right.
Right. And you're bringing that to other people.
Right. Or what you learn from movies, because I remember that's when we were like in our Ninja Turtle phase and Karate Kid, and we wanted to be ninjas and stuff. You start,
Well, that was later. That was in our 6th.
That's what I'm saying. Like you start taking that.
Right. But then there's that. But then it's interesting because my son just turned 7, right? So he's out of that first the 3 to 6 stage, right?
Yeah.
And I think I told you this. I was like, he woke up Monday, and sometimes he would be so tired that I would like carry him to the bathroom, right? Because he's on the top bunk, so then he's got to get down. So I would just like
pick him up, bring him to the bathroom,
and then he'd brush his teeth, whatever. But when on Monday, I told him, "You're 7 years old now. I'm not picking you up anymore. You have to get down yourself and do it yourself. You got to be responsible." But then even when I said that, I was like just thinking like, wow. It's a different stage, right? And I thought of even that scripture that says a righteous man falls down 7 times, right? Because even that's connected to how we look at things in terms of stages, right? Because even us as believers, we go through stages. You know, we go through stages as being babies, right? As being
toddlers,
toddlers,
young children,
and it's connected to responsibility,
right?
God's preparing you to be able to handle things you couldn't handle before. You know, and when we're just, and I'm saying this because going back to like when you learn something and then you go back and say, well, I'm giving to people, right? I'm giving turkeys, I'm helping people, but what are you giving them something that they can consume, or are you giving them something that will last longer than a consumption or a year? Because wisdom is going to last you a whole lot longer, right? Understanding and knowledge is going to last you a whole lot longer,
right?
So when you're teaching people how to handle things that they couldn't handle before, like the poor need to understand how to get, like God doesn't say, I'm going to give you money. He says, I give you the ability to get wealth.
Right.
Right? That's what he said. I give you the ability to get wealth.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. And like, even like that little moment with my son, realizing like, now you have to take responsibility in a place where you didn't take responsibility for it because you couldn't bear it.
Right.
Right. And we know that, like, even in connection with my older son, like, I'm gonna put more responsibility on him that I wouldn't put on my 7-year-old.
Right.
He's 10. I'm gonna give him more responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Playing soccer, same thing. Like, I'm not gonna expect my little one to be doing stuff that the other one does.
Right.
So again, like all these things, we don't even realize that we do. Our communities aren't even thinking about these things.
Mm-hmm.
They're just looking at cuteness, right, and relating it back to themselves. But now you're saying that you're good.
Right.
Like, as you mirror yourself and then mirror it back, who do you mirror off of?
Right.
And that's what God does for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sitting there looking at like, my son is so amazing because he does the things that I do. I'm always going back to God, right? And I have to check myself, which then I make mistakes and I tell my kids, sorry, daddy did that wrong. I made that mistake. I messed up. You know, I could have did this better. So now they're looking at me like, oh, he looks at God. He doesn't take it all on himself, right? So now they're not going to see me as the end all to be all, right? And then put their confidence in, oh, I'm doing it exactly how daddy does it, right? They're always being challenged.
Right.
Because when I tell them, no, that's not what but you do it that way, you know, like, but you don't understand why I do it that way.
Right.
Right. So, but what do we have in these communities where we're challenging each other? It's gone. It's lost.
Yeah.
You know,
I think too, where not us, but I think in general, the perception is we're looking at men their age, and we're assuming that they're mature. We're assuming that Rick Ross chronologically is 45, something like that. We're assuming that men like that who present as grown men
and reach a certain level of success that
they're mature, and physically, physically he's a man, but mentally, no. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think that the assumption is always like, you should know better. Well, maybe he doesn't,
right?
Because he's still operating from a childlike state, that where he's behaving in a certain way. So to him, a man presents a certain arguments against him, and his thing is to call him the N-word.
Yeah.
His thing is to curse him out,
make fun of his hairstyle.
Make fun of his hairstyle. So to me, when I look at a man, when I look, I'm not offended. I'm almost shocked, and I'm almost in a position where, like, wow, like Rick Ross responded like a
child.
Like a child.
Yeah.
He wasn't articulate.
Right.
He didn't state anything. He just basically challenged him to a fist fight,
right.
a verbal fist fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, the presentation of hip hop is just that.
Right.
Where it's just about it's showing itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, and that's what, for me, that's what D1 is doing. He's cultivating hip hop, because culture needs to be cultivated.
Yeah,
right.
He's trying to prune back the weeds a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
he's drawing a line. He's
the
drawing
branches.
He's cutting.
If you, it's funny. Like, I was watching these videos on pruning trees, and the reason why you do it is because if you have a branch that starts to become, there's always a main stem of a tree, right?
Right. Yeah.
But when a tree is young, if it starts to create two mains, you have to cut one off, or else it'll
be too divided.
Yeah, it'll be too divided, and it won't be able to stand, and it won't bear fruit.
Right.
Because then
it's pulling too much nutrients.
So you have to pick one main stem and let that provide the branches, and you always got to watch the branches, because if a branch comes out that's the same thickness as the main stem, then that's a branch is a problem. Yeah. You have to keep that branch cut off.
Let not a double-minded man think he'll receive anything from the Lord.
Right.
You can't be ruled in your flesh, but then also thinking, I don't know how many people say they're spiritual.
Right.
What does that even mean? Right? You can't walk in the spirit and then walk in your flesh. But even me saying that right now, people aren't going to get it, because even the ideas of what that means is can be so corrupted that you miss the whole point, right? And I'll say this: you can do good, but be inherently evil. I spoke about this to you. You can do good, but be inherently evil, right? Or I'll even say, because really you can't,
Right.
You really can't.
Right.
I'll say
What
you can
is
do what
good?
seems
Right,
good.
exactly,
Right?
exactly.
But be inherently evil.
Nino
but,
Brown.
Yeah.
But you can do evil, but be inherently good.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You can do evil, but be inherently good. Because inherently means your nature, right? So everybody who's not born again, so your evil, your nature is evil, right? But when we're born again, we're born into the goodness of God, where our nature is good.
But we can still do evil.
But we can still do evil because we need to be raised up in good.
Right.
Right? We got to be raised up in it. So
Right.
it takes time for us to separate from doing the old nature.
To prune those branches.
Yeah, our old nature's got to die.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And the branches part, dude. You look at what's a branch? A branch has to do with what we look at an image for how we rule and how we measure things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So everything how I rule in my life that's how I judge, how I measure. Right. It's not. You'll know them by their fruit.
Yeah.
But the fruit isn't the branches. Everybody's focused on the branches. They're not focused on the fruit. Fruit is spiritual.
Right.
Fruit is about character, right? That's more of a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Nobody's focused on the fruit.
Right.
So when you say you'll know them by their fruit, people think they're not even looking at the fruit. They're looking at the branches.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to judge based off of that. And you know it because when you say something that's true, somebody will deflect and say, look at your shoes. Branches.
Yep.
When somebody is coming at you and says, listen, you shouldn't be doing this, who are you to tell me something when you got that on?
Right.
Branches.
Yep.
And that's surface, right?
Yep.
Right? But how
And what culture does that the most?
I mean, yeah.
Hip hop is all about that.
Right.
You know?
And this is one of the things Dr. Thomas Sowell was talking about what black culture has become, right? Because as I'm watching this with these little boys here, right?
Yeah.
Right? We're watching this. Somebody thought it enough to glorify this. Then when we see a Tamir Rice, we want to cry and talk about police reform.
Yeah.
And we need to change system. And those very rappers that are saying that will join up, usually with white liberals, to discuss the police brutality, but none of them will actually speak out about what gets those little boys there.
Right.
What puts them in this position is the
Right.
glorification of this nonsense
Right.
that does this. Because just because we're looking at what seems to be adult, they're adults chronologically,
Yeah.
but mentally they're children.
Look at all those adults that decided it was a good idea to have those guns and money there for a child's birthday party, and then film this, and they're all standing around like this is normal.
Right.
Laughing about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, who's challenging?
Right.
Right. Who's going to challenge them? And he said it. D1 said it. I'm doing it because I love you. Love bears all things.
Right.
Love is true responsibility, right?
Right.
I'm not going to just, like, he can say it because he's doing it.
Right.
He's actually bearing it. He's saying it because, and I'll leave that there so we can go into this next clip because and I want to show the next clip because where Jim Jones goes shows you the mentality, right? Of where you don't even get where we're coming from when we speak how we speak.
Yeah, and you said something like he said, "I'm doing this because I love you." But a phrase you hear all the time is, especially in hip hop, "I got love for you," right? But in that culture, it means I'll never speak. I'll never say anything ill about you.
But that's not real love.
That's not real love.
No.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid to speak on you. I'm afraid to tell you the truth and be honest with you.
Right.
That means I got love for you.
Yeah.
That's different.
That's different.
I love you is different.
Yeah. Because love is patience, right?
Yeah.
So I have patience with my kids.
Yeah.
But I have patience to endure the things that they get wrong that I know they're eventually going to get right. Right? I love them. God loves us.
Right.
That's the whole thing with, again, you can do evil, right? But you can be inherently good.
Right.
Grace is literally that.
Right.
God gives us the grace to make mistakes because he knows, because his love is, I'm loving you into my goodness, because I know, and I'm faithful with you to know that you're gonna get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man.
Man, but my thoughts though about this, like this, I knew there was gonna be, I knew that there was gonna be a reaction video to dude, and I kind of feel bad myself because I knew what they were gonna say.
Yeah.
But I want to have hope for them. Like, it sucks that it's like that, but and in my brain, I want to have hope. I want to see Meek Mill or somebody respond in a way where it's like, you know what, brother, you're right.
Yeah. We got to do a better job.
We got to do a better job.
What
We
our
can't
lyrics
keep-
say.
Yeah.
We got to care about the minds of the youth and the messages that we put out there to them. We got to
Yeah.
care about that.
But again, that to me, that takes people challenging this.
Yeah.
It takes people in those realms, like a D1, to challenge people. Because when you're not used to being challenged, that's when pride reigns.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But the more you get challenged, the more you can be like, wait, what are you trying to say? It takes time.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so important for, the devil or the enemy or whatever to cultivate a culture where you don't challenge anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's,
right.
It's frowned upon to challenge anything.
Right.
You're afraid to call things out.
Right.
Because you're afraid of what the repercussions are going to be. Like I said, you'll
Right.
call out the nonsense before you call out. You'll call out things that don't matter.
Right.
Before you call out real things.
And I was going to reassure you and say this. Maybe the lesson isn't for Jim Jones or Rick Ross, but the people who love them
Yeah.
and realize that what D1 is saying is powerful in truth.
Yeah.
And the people who love those kind of guys and love the bravado realize, whoa, have I been listening and supporting somebody or something that is destructive to the community because I can see it, but I don't have the money that those guys have to be able to dismiss it and come out with a diss track.
Right.
But I can see where, wow.
Let me
And
stop supporting this.
Right. I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's I mean, yes, do we hope that these guys see and surrender? Sure. But I think sometimes the message isn't for them. It's for the people who are listening.
I agree with that
Yeah,
because
I
the
agree.
thing is, once culture changes, those people can't exist anyway.
Can't exist anyway.
Yeah.
Once culture changes, they can't thrive.
Right.
Either they change either it changes them or culture pushes them out.
Right. And that's the thing. It's public. Like, you could say, well, you're messing with my money. But that's the problem. You're making money off of this.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It shouldn't happen.
Right.
But the problem is you're making money because nobody's challenging culture.
Yeah.
Once you challenge culture, it shifts, right? So I think you're right, but yeah, it's the same thing. Like, you're right too. The more we challenge artists, you're gonna see changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're also gonna see it in culture, in
Right.
communities, right? But we have to challenge. You can't be afraid of the truth.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we saw this in like the early '90s when hip hop started to.
Yeah,
the
I
culture of
remember
hip hop
this,
really was
self-destruction,
shifting.
yeah.
It was Rick Ross brought up self destruction.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, you heard him say that. He said people was dying every day when self destruction came out.
Right, that's true.
Trying to say like, what good did that do, basically? But the thing is, it was having an impact because it wasn't just self destruction. There was a whole movement of conscious rap, positive rap. Building up the community, getting people to think differently. But then what happened? The money came. The young lion got brought down in chains by Babylon. How? Because
Yeah, the labels.
the gangster rap started getting all the funding.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right. And again, so you have to, like, what does the word of God do? It's a two-edged sword,
Yeah.
right? It's like a two-edged sword. It cuts through. It's like the fire. It burns, right? It's painful.
Right.
But it's only painful if you got impurities. It's only painful because if it's not, you are the fire.
Yeah.
Right? You
Right.
become the fire.
If fire hits fire, it just grows.
Right. That's why, like, when Jesus, when the Holy Spirit came on the disciples,
Yeah.
or the apostles, which were the disciples at the time, it came as fire, right?
Right.
But when it came on Jesus, when the Holy Spirit came on Jesus, it came as a dove.
Yeah.
Because Jesus didn't have anything to burn out.
Right.
Right? The disciples still were learning. The apostles were still learning.
Yeah.
You know? But for Jesus, he was one with the Spirit. So it came as a dove. It's a totally different thing, right? And I don't think we even get that. Like, a lot of times we don't understand that. There's not when you are one with the Spirit, there's no more fight.
Yeah.
There's no more fight. So if you're struggling in things in your life and you recognize it, it's crazy how me and Mom were having this conversation. When you're struggling with something and stuff starts coming to the surface, you start to feel ashamed. If you allow that to happen, you let the devil win. But when you recognize, and then you're like, man, I'm so far from where I need to be.
I got a long way to go.
I got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Right? I got a long way to go. But no, you're actually getting closer to God. Right? If you don't let that shame in, you recognize, wow, God loves me that much that he's revealing the things that are in me, right? So that I can let that go. And now I'm getting closer to him.
Right.
Right? That's what love does. That's really the point of love. So the word, that's what the word does. So even like, I'm saying all that because brought up self-destruction. Truth, when it's spoken in love, right? Speak the truth in love. When truth is spoken in love, it's gonna have an effect.
Yeah.
Right? But are you gonna continue to stand with the truth? So many people, once you speak the truth in love, you're gonna get an attack.
Yeah.
You're gonna get persecution. Right? It's coming.
Right.
You can't run from it. It's gonna come, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't ready for it, and they're like, "Oh, I won't do that again. I'm not gonna go there again."
Yeah.
Then you're not moving in faith anymore, right? That's where the young lions, they go back. They get put in chains.
Yep. Quick shout out to Lisa Sloan, who said, hello, fam, praying everyone is well. Blessings. Thank you, Lisa. Robert Ruffis said, hello, brothers. Shout out to Rob. Jeffrey said, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. Exactly. He said, man, your next song should be about your discussion tonight. Think about that. Put it into a song. Well, think about that. It's so weird because I don't know if it's because what we're talking about, but the thing literally says we have 0 viewers. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's that's how you know it's lying, right? Because I'm on it right now.
Right.
You're on it right now.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And there's people
whatsoever.
commenting, but it literally says 0 viewers right here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, like,
in other words, pack it up and go.
Yeah, right.
But so what are they
So
doing?
you might as well give up, guys.
Even that is a lie, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Jessica's just commented, I'm watching. You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, they are really trying to.
Right. Like, people think we just be saying this stuff.
Yeah.
No, look at what's happening.
That's funny that you're saying that. I kept
algorithm,
going out and coming in because I keep saying 0. And
Yeah.
I'm like, something wrong with it?
Yeah. Courtney said
I knew it
that's
was 9.
crazy. Yeah. I mean, people are.
Because there's another aspect of it, as you guys are saying, that there's the profiting off of people's pain, their foolishness. There's a lot of profiting with this because the people who truly own these labels want guys like this to promote a certain music. It sells.
Yeah.
Who owns them?
Huh?
Who owns them?
Guys.
Okay. We ain't going there. Okay.
So, can we go to the
yes. Yeah. I'm gonna play it right here.
Go ahead.
Jim Jones clip?
Hold on, I don't have no volume for some reason. Let me see. Come on. It's saying no volume. Let me go out and go back in.
They trying to hack you. They trying to hack you, bro.
They're like, stop talking about this. But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. Remember that scene from Black Dynamite?
I was just making sure.
It had audio in it? Yeah. Okay.
What is any credence to what he said about?
I don't care about what he said.
Okay.
That boy don't know.
So this is Jim Jones Sway asking Jim Jones about his reaction to what D1 said.
Right.
What is any credence to what he said about
I don't care about what he said.
Okay.
That boy don't know me. I know his trick. You know, using my name for fame is all good, but you don't know me. You don't know nothing about my life.
Now-
I do more.
What did he just say?
Using my name for fame. He's implying intent right there.
He's implying
You don't-
intent.
You don't know nothing about
See,
my life.
and then people will take that in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
is
is
trying to do
doing that.
You don't know
he's
that.
just a grifter. He's just trying to get clout by dropping names of celebrities.
Right. You don't know that. But
Yeah.
these are tactics
Yeah.
that people don't even realize that they use
Yeah.
so
To
that they
deflect.
can deflect.
Mhm.
Right.
In 1 month for people than he'll ever do in his whole life. And more in 1 month for people than he'll ever do in his whole life. You heard?
Yeah.
Like I really give back to the people. I don't care about none of the rhetoric he talking about. I grew up in the church. You're not gonna do none of that to me. But I really do a lot for the people.
He talked about lyrics.
I don't care about none of that.
Okay.
In real life, I do a lot for the people.
So lyrics don't exist in real life. Lyrics don't affect people in real life.
These are emotional children. man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. By the response that these guys gave to me, if you're blinded by the character of a man, there it is.
Yeah.
He's getting emotional.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yep.
You know.
We've talked about this before, and I think I brought up me remembering when I was in the gym on the the steppers and at
Y'all
DMX.
gonna make me lose my
DMX came
mind.
up like,
Up in
oh,
here,
but then
up
we
in-
started talking about like we've seen it in the club.
Yeah.
When that song comes on,
Yeah.
it generates this spirit.
Yeah.
Over
Of
it, and
chaos.
it gets people
Remember
hype.
when Annie Up would come on?
Yes.
Or like Where My Dog's At?
Yes.
In the club,
Yes.
like James is like, I didn't go to those clubs. Guys.
Nope.
I was
listening to LaBouche.
No, but like he don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
And you don't know
He doesn't
want to
take accountability for it.
Because,
Yeah.
and you'll hear it, it's because if you can compartmentalize things, you're not making a connection.
Right.
Whenever you hold something as God, right? And to me, most people think that getting money is their God, right?
Right.
I'm getting money.
Right.
See, that becomes the God, right? So now you fracture yourself because the moment you look at something and you focus on that thing, right, as the good thing, and we'll talk. That's another video I
Yeah.
have. You're fracturing from other things,
Right.
and you're going to neglect other things because you put too much credence on one thing. That's why God says that don't put any other gods before me, right? You have to focus on Him, and then you can put everything into perspective. Money's not bad,
Right.
but you got to put it in perspective. And if you put money before you put God, it's going to be off. If you put family before you put God, it's going to be off.
Out of
right?
order.
It's going to be out of
If
order.
things are out of order, it's chaos.
Yeah, and then you become single-minded, right? And then the other things don't make sense to you in the same way anymore because it becomes fractured.
Right.
But what God does is He brings a unity. He
Order.
He starts to bring an order and join everything together to where now everything makes sense again.
Yeah.
Oh, this is for this. Oh, we do this for this. Oh, it starts to make sense,
Yep.
right?
All right, let's keep playing his rant.
Now let's line up to the statistics. You talking or you doing? You heard? You talk a good one. What have you done?
Yeah.
You did? You know how many people I watch get killed that I grew up as my friends and things like that? I don't get scared straight. I stand up stronger and fight for my people and do for my people every single day. Miss me with the rhetoric about what I do in my music. I get money off my music. Don't tell me how to make my dollars.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
I get money off my music. Don't tell me how to get my dollars.
He's
Again.
telling on himself.
Right.
Did he not just say he compartmentalized it, right?
Right.
So it shows you how he's thinking.
So whatever I do to get money, as long as I'm making money, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Because you put money as
Right.
the ultimate God. Like or I'll say you put money as your ultimate role.
Yeah.
Right? We don't war
Your
against
ultimate purpose.
We don't war against
Flesh and blood.
but against
Powers, principalities, might, and dominion.
The only way these powers and principalities have rule over you is because you give it to them.
Right.
Right?
You bow down to them.
Right. These are false teachers,
Right.
right? A false teacher, you listen to them because you think they can give you something, right? They're talking about the fallen angels, right?
Right.
The fallen angels said, "We want your women
But we can give you knowledge.
That's a whole nother story.
Right,
but
right.
but this is what happened. We
Right.
want your women. We will give you this knowledge, right, that we have.
Right.
It's set apart.
Because money didn't exist at that time. Knowledge was the ultimate power.
Right. And then they taught them how to do things
Mhm.
with their knowledge.
Mhm.
But it's out of order. Why? Because it's corrupted now.
Yeah.
They left their first estate. That's what it
Mhm.
says in Jude.
Yeah.
Right. These angels, these angelic beings,
right,
that were supposed to be in a certain space. They were sons of God. Look, we're talking about nature
Right,
again.
right.
They left their nature.
Right.
So that they could have a different nature. They corrupted their nature. So you can be good. You can be of the inheritance. You can be inherently good.
Right.
You can be of the inheritance of good, and then you can leave it behind.
Right.
You can become evil.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't stay
Lucifer.
connected, Lucifer, right.
Right.
If you don't stay connected to the source of good, then everything you do that you say is good is actually evil.
Mm.
If you don't stay connected to the vine,
Right.
Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you don't stay connected to the vine, then everything you do in his name is
Right.
in vain.
Right.
Right? And this is what you're hearing.
Mhm.
What do you do? What
have
you don't know
done?
what I did.
Right. Don't
It's
talk about how I
all
get my money.
vain.
Don't talk about how I get my money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't
speak
tell me-
on
don't
another
tell
man.
me how
Don't
I'm-
speak on
Yeah.
all these rules, all these principles, all these
all
things
these
that
things.
you've set up.
And you don't realize that's who you serve.
Right.
You're showing who you serve. That's why you're so mad,
Mhm.
right? And it's not something that like the thing is like I'm speaking about this in a way where like I'm sure like he might never ever see this, but what I'm
Right.
saying is that I'm speaking about it so that maybe you could see a different perspective,
Mhm.
right? Take it in and consider it, right?
Yeah.
Because what it does is it frees you from who you serve that is a counterfeit.
Right.
Right. And then you get freedom. Now you're not that angry. You know what I mean? Where's anger come from? How many times is it saying about do not be slow to anger?
Be slow to anger, yeah.
Right? Isn't being slow to anger being patient?
Right. And who is quick to anger? Immature children that
Mhm.
have not grown up in
Don't know how to deal with
yes,
things.
they don't know how to deal with their emotions.
Don't know how to take on responsibility.
Right. Haven't been led by fathers.
I was going to go there with that. I was
Yeah.
going to talk about. I think, and this is one of the problems we see in the black community, is when men are challenged, they revert back to this is boyhood. This is boy bravado here.
Mhm.
You know, even his cadence, the way he's talking, the
Right.
language, is that of a pissed off young man.
Mhm.
It's not a hey, all right, cool. You accuse me of this. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation.
Right.
Let's have a real conversation about lyrics or whatever it is. You could see Rick Ross in him, especially him. You know, this is what it is, and you know, this is the importance of a man, especially a godly man, ushering a boy into manhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you could see how these things, these guys are triggered.
Yeah.
By
again, what's a trigger? An offense into a trap, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's-
could see it.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you're offended, you're going to fall for the trap. But when you're speaking out of love, then it's going to show you the trap. It's
Yeah.
actually showing you the trigger where you fall to the trap
Right.
so that you can give it up and then you don't fall for it anymore.
Yeah.
Now the same thing doesn't trigger you.
Right.
Right, and that's what it said. You know, when the Bible says the love of money,
Mhm.
because that's what it is.
Yeah.
They know what they're. That's why they're so offended, because it's the truth.
That's what Courtney just said.
They're offended because they know what he's saying.
Yeah.
Is the truth.
He knows that he's calling out their God.
Don't worry about how I get my
Right,
money.
right.
So they love money so much that they are willing to risk the future community that they live in, people that
Mhm.
look like them, just so they can get a piece of it.
Right.
Because they don't even get all of it; they get a piece of it.
Right.
They love money that much. That's their true God.
Mhm.
But like I said, I think the message in this is not so much for them. I hope it reaches them. I hope one day in their quiet moments they're able to say, you know what, I was wrong.
Mhm.
But I think the message is more for the people who endear these men
Yeah.
and love them and see how, wow, you're still responding like this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, a public, anything in public deserves a public response. Because when you do things in public, when Elijah dealt with the prophets of Baal, he
Mhm.
did it in public.
Right.
Right? He made an open spectacle of them, right? And dealt with them in a public way because like it's about the people,
right?
And you challenge them, and that shame won't remain if you humble yourself,
right?
But when you're doing something in public, you're going to receive public acclaim.
Yeah.
You're going to receive public glory. You're going to receive public honor, right? But who deserves that glory? God does. Who deserves that honor? God does.
Yep.
So when you're receiving that for yourself, it feels good. Right? It feels good to get these things. It feels good. It feels good. It makes you feel like you're doing something. It's all very surface, right? It makes you feel like you're doing something.
Right.
It makes you feel like you're doing the right things. It makes you feel like you're doing good.
Yeah.
But it's all in vain.
Yeah.
It's only a perception of good. It's not really good.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep playing this.
Yeah.
For the people,
Yeah.
from my heart, can't nobody tell me about at all. And I've been doing it since I got in this game, even before I got in this game. When I was buying my dudes, my close ones, long john shirts and Scully hats because we didn't have no money on Christmas. And that was the Christmas gift. You heard? For everybody.
Talk about it.
Them Christmas gifts then turn even to way bigger things. But that's not what we hear about. I don't like to hear people mention my name, especially when you don't know me. Because that's very touchy.
Yeah.
You got to watch whose names you mentioning out here. You heard?
Sway
Because
don't
my
give
little
no
cousin
push.
might not.
Huh?
Sway don't give no push, huh?
Nah, because you
I mean,
don't
this
do
is
that.
entertainment for him.
Yeah, he's just getting he's getting viewership.
Like how you mentioned my name. You heard? And then he might want to slap a dread out your head just because he don't understand that you're using my name for fame and he don't understand that.
Yeah.
There's a certain way
So
to go up to
again,
my
let's
name
go
for
back
fame. I
a
want to
little
slap
bit.
a dread out your head.
'Cause
name, especially when you don't know me. Because that's very touchy.
Yeah.
You got to watch whose names you mentioning out here. You heard?
Yeah.
Because my little cousin might not like how you mentioned my name. You heard? And then he might want to slap a dread out your head just because he don't understand that you're using my name for fame and he don't understand that.
Yeah.
There's a certain way to go about certain things when you're using certain people's names.
He's making dude's point.
Yeah.
He's making dude's point.
Yeah. And he's a fool.
You're talking about how your little cousin is unruly and might resort to violence over someone just bringing up a question to you. You don't think that this is a sickness? It's a sickness.
Yeah.
Therefore,
and there's no way he could truly love his little cousin and fill his head with that kind of stuff.
Is that love? So now you letting your cousin do that because you can't handle him, but you love him,
Right.
You don't really love him because if
when
you
your
love
little
him,
cousin
you
gets
challenge
dropped,
him.
gets locked up and is doing prison time,
Because this
he's
is
a real one.
Right. So here's the thing, right? You advocate slapping a dread, but your cousin said, I'm gonna take it further.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you how much I really love.
I'm gonna show how much I really and kill him.
Right.
Now your response when he gets 20 to life is I ain't telling him to do that.
Right. Right.
I hope people see the foolishness of this.
Yeah.
You know?
And this is because at one point you're saying you don't advocate for these things, but then you're saying that this is how you live.
Well, he said, we're talking about real life. We're talking about real life, not how I get my money in my music. But then you're bringing it. You're showing how in real life.
But then he says right after this, you'll watch what he says.
Okay.
I'm not promoting violence.
See what I mean? Like it's literally hypocrisy in action.
Yeah.
And I get it that people don't. We laugh about these things, like how people can say stuff, and then double down, and then be saying the total opposite.
Don't
thing
even know it.
2 seconds later, and don't realize it.
Right.
You know.
I don't even think he think that deep.
Yeah.
I think to him that makes sense.
No, that is a normal manipulative tactic, bro. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Okay.
He's saying the things to get the street dude stirred up to a point, but then he can feign.
Well, he says something at the end.
Well, I'm saying he can avoid responsibility for it. Like
Yeah,
I saw a
by
clip
saying-
today where a news anchor on MSNBC, of course, he's talking about Trump, and he's like comparing everything that Trump says to what Hitler said. And he's like, and I'm not one of those people that will call Trump a Nazi. I wouldn't go that far. But he does say this, and then Hitler said this, and the Nazis, and it's it's like the same type of mentality where it's like you're saying the thing to connect the people to that idea or to get
they
you know what I'm
understand the
saying?
legal implications.
Right.
I got
right,
you.
Even in this again, he says they might not understand that you're doing it to get clicks or whatever, however he said it.
Right.
But dude, now you're implying intent again.
Right.
I know what he's doing. Like he's saying, I know what he's doing, but you don't.
Right.
You don't know what he's doing. You don't understand it. You're saying that to make it make sense to you so that you don't have to do anything about it and you can stay where you're at.
Right.
But if you really wanted to know, well, why are you saying it? But when you just imply intent, it's the conversation's over because you made it make sense to you.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
You heard?
Say that.
I'm just saying that when you do certain things, it's a reaction for every action.
Yeah.
And you don't know who loves me to the death that they don't want to hear nobody mention my name in no type of ill light on no type of social media or anywhere like that. You heard?
And that is called irresponsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called irresponsible.
That is called a culture of chaos.
Right. And because they're irresponsible, I can't call them out.
Yeah.
Because, so I got to be afraid? No, I'm not afraid. If something happens, guess what? And I think D1 probably just like, God got me.
Yeah.
I don't got to worry about this life.
Yeah.
Right? I got to worry about what God has me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So even to say that, you think we're scared in that way.
Right. You think you're putting fear on somebody to keep them from mentioning you.
Right.
Or keep them from saying something.
But that's not how. That's intimidation in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a street tactic.
Yeah.
Right. These are street tactics. These are all deceptive things.
Yeah.
You know. And that's why, like, we're saying this to call these things out.
Right.
It's not to, like, I'm not saying Jim Jones is a horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this is what he grew up in. He might not know any better. Right. He probably, I don't know his life. Like he said, I don't know, but I'm only going on what's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Right. I'm speaking on what's coming out of his mouth because the Bible says out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Right. So,
but it doesn't matter. It seems to me like no matter what is said, his pride is so strong that he's not going to listen to nothing.
yeah, but again, it takes a fall, right?
That's what I was going to say.
It takes
Pride
a fall.
comes before the fall.
It takes a fall, and God's not God ain't in the business of causing people to fall when they've never been held accountable.
Yeah.
But once you bring up the word, you've been brought before a choice.
Yeah.
Right? When you bring people to the word, you're giving them an opportunity to choose. Right?
I set before you life and death.
Right. So God sends messengers. Right?
Yeah.
He sends messengers. Jesus had a what's it called? Oh my gosh. What's it called? The parables.
Okay.
Parables. He had a parable about the vineyard, right? Where he gave the vineyard to servants.
Yeah.
And the servants started thinking that vineyard was theirs. They didn't want to give it up. So when he sent his servants, right?
Yeah.
They killed the servants.
Right.
To the point where they kept killing the servants and eventually they killed the son.
Right.
Right? So we see this so many times, like, you know, we even have that saying, don't kill the messenger.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because the servant is the messenger. So a lot of times people don't want to hear what God is trying to say from somebody else. And you're like, you're just a man. No, only God can judge me. But
Right.
God sends men.
Right.
He sends men to you to speak words
Right.
of truth from him because he loves you.
Yeah.
You know? But are you willing to listen to it?
Yeah. Your heart is hardened.
One of the only ways, in a secular standpoint, that these conversations can truly help the community is if these people really wanted to know, they should have agree or disagree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To show, because I think what it is here, his pride is in his way, and his feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
But if I think a lot of them would see how the public is responding,
Yeah.
they would change their tune.
Yeah.
Because although he's talking about money, he worships that. He's a slave to it too. right? So if the public said, "Nah, you're wrong," he would change. Yeah, you know what, man? Well, that brother had a point.
Right.
He would. I mean, I don't know if he generally mean it in his heart, but it's one of the reasons why the algorithm they got rid of that thumbs down because once these messages started to come out, is it YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube got rid of
YouTube.
it. Well, actually, first Netflix got rid of it. Remember?
Netflix got rid of it too.
After Amy Schumer's special got thumbs down to oblivion.
Right.
Yeah, they got rid of the thumbs down.
So they started it.
Yeah, they
Okay.
started it.
But I noticed with YouTube, like that, when these thumbs down started, because the public was voting.
Yeah.
Like I said, what I do is whenever I see a disagreement, doesn't matter the stance.
Yeah.
When I go to the comments, usually it tells a lot
It will
That
tell you,
gives
about
you
the topic.
tell you all.
The public temperature.
The public
on the
temperature
matter.
of it.
Yeah.
And when I see comments disable,
Yeah.
that tells me you're spinning something
Yeah.
that you don't want people to weigh in on.
Right.
And it could go the other way because sometimes the comments are totally wrong.
Yeah.
But it shows you where the public is,
Right.
right? It still
Right.
shows you,
Yeah.
like, because it's not like because there's a lot of people saying this, like, then it's right.
No.
That's
Yeah.
not what it is.
No, it
right?
shows
It's-
you if people are buying into this or
right.
not.
It
Yeah.
shows you where
Right.
the people are.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's continue playing this.
I got a family, right? He got a family, right? He wouldn't want nobody mentioning his name in no ill light. Now, if you want to have a conversation, there was a way to go about doing it.
How do you know that?
What's the best way?
Yeah.
It's out now. It ain't no best way to have a conversation. He got to see me when he see me now.
Okay.
You heard?
What does that mean?
Yeah, right.
Like you contradicting yourself so many times, bro.
If he reached
He
out,
had the chance. He could have reached out. That avenue of talking to me is out.
That's out.
You heard?
Why
I
does
would
it
love-
have to be a reach out in private? Why can't it be public when you're making public proclamations
Yeah.
in your songs?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. You're making public proclamations. He can speak about it publicly.
Yeah.
Because he's living by, rules that he's
Code of the street.
For some weird
created.
reason, I don't think the streets, I really don't even know who Jim Jones is. You know?
I don't know. I think they do.
They do.
Certain people do.
Yeah.
To have a conversation with that young man to enlighten him on certain things when he was mentioning my name. I had the same conversation with Farrakhan. But I don't think he went about it the right way, especially not talking about like people like Rick Ross and Meek Mills and the platforms that they have that they've been helping people with. Like I watched Meek Mill go through so much shit in this industry, including going back and forth to jail numerous amounts of times because whatever was going on with was in Philly and things like that. And on top of that, he came back out on top like a champion and started to do things for others that can't afford to help themselves in these type of situations.
I think he's right. I think Meek Mill is a completely innocent guy. Never did anything wrong.
He just got
Didn't
there.
deserve any of the consequences that he ever faced.
How could you ever talk bad about people that's doing these type of things? If you want to have a conversation with them, have a conversation with them. You talking about Rick Ross. Rick Ross has helped so many people and put so many people on how to become a businessman, how to become a business owner. I watch him share that wealth. I watch him share that game. Like, I admire the way he hustles. I see where he goes. That boy don't let no money slide. Like, these are people you should look at and
Yeah.
What's he
Money.
talking?
Right.
It's about the money, right?
Yep.
Again,
The love of money.
it's not about money. It's about culture. We're talking about culture.
We're talking about culture.
We're talking about cultivating culture, and it doesn't feel good to cut back those branches.
And it's
Yeah.
crazy because nothing is still said about the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's about everything else.
He don't want to
But
talk
that's the
about. He don't want to
deflection.
talk about all that though.
Because
Yeah.
that's just entertainment,
Feelings are hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? That's
There's no
but-
defending that. That's why.
Yeah, because again, it's compartmentalized.
Yeah.
and you could see by the example that we've been setting. Okay, yeah, our music is rough. Yeah,
Okay.
we grew up in rough places. So when we talk about these rough places, we talking about things that we went through, so you don't have to go through it. You heard? A simple
that's not
person
what
could
you
That's
say
not
in your
what you're
music.
saying
Yeah.
in your music.
Right.
You're talking about killing people.
Yeah.
understand that. We're not glorifying what we're talking about. These are things that we really went through. And yeah, it is music. So in a bit of music, you do get
Yeah.
you do get what you get, you heard? But we're still in the entertainment business. And if you listen to any of my music is heavy on the spiritual side from the moment I made an album on my way to church.
Yeah.
If you know anything about me. And I've been battling with my demons and my sins from the moment I've been born. So how you dare you talk about another person that's really trying to help people out here and help themselves at the same time? And you don't know my story. Nor do you know what the message that I'm preaching out here. So you dig? And
I mean, we can get the message you're preaching through your lyrics. What is he? I don't understand.
Not only that, through just what you're saying just now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to hear everything.
Right.
I'm hearing you right now. And I
Right.
see where you're coming from. You know, that's the thing. Like, you're you're telling us where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to judge by. And a lot of people don't know how to judge that. Like, you'll miss a lot of this stuff,
Mhm.
right? If you're connected to it.
Right.
Right.
Right. Or if you identify with it.
Right.
I'm mad I even gave this any flow because now he's gonna have a chance to go back and forth because I don't really care. You heard?
Okay.
But miss me with the bullshit. You heard? When you see me, keep your hand down. You heard? Where you from? New Orleans?
New
Don't
Orleans.
play with me like that. People from New Orleans already called me. You heard?
See?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you even go there, like, you're playing both sides.
Yeah.
Stupid street talk.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely shows how there's a long way to go in the culture.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
were just talking about that. Long way to go where a culture just wants to identify with that type of stuff, man. Like,
This is clown behavior, though.
but the problem is it
Right.
has a stronghold on.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And someone trying to point that out and make sense of that, you know, has to be met with.
I think 10 years ago, it would stick
Mhm.
because the radio hosts and the radio stations would use this to fuel something.
Mhm.
I think now, yes, are there people who are immature and would buy into this? Sure. But you have to look at their mental state. I think now, watching things with people being able to critique like what we're doing here and give people new perspective, and hopefully there are people who can point these things out. I think a lot more people are going to see this for what it is, you know. And I think that we're living in a time where, because we could weigh in now, the radio stations can't spin this the
Yeah.
way they would have been able to in the 90s, the early 2000s, you know, times
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I remember in the 1990s, you know,
Sensationalism,
going back to, you know, show my age, when in my bedroom when the first Source Awards came on TV, and I could and our room, we didn't even have cable, we just had the little dial that you had to turn and then tune it and get the channels. And I remember the Source Awards was the first Source Awards. It was on UPN at the time, which was like Channel 7, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And I got it to come in, and I remember watching on this live on TV where Suge Knight comes out on the stage and he makes the statement, you know, if you want somebody that's not going to be all in your videos, talking on the records, dancing in the videos, then come to Death Row. And he was throwing a shot at Puffy.
Yeah.
And then remember hearing on the radio the next day that someone got stabbed, and it was crazy. And I'm thinking, even at that age, I was thinking like, man, this is like the first hip hop based award show ever. And it's just chaos. Like how?
Yeah.
And
culture.
no one called it out on the radio. No one said like, yo, we got to do better than this. This is the first opportunity we had to have a major award show. Like, no one called it out. People were feeding into the beef. East Coast, West Coast beef erupts at Source Awards.
Yeah.
People are talking about whose side they're on. And, you know, it was like,
Yep. The radio stations.
yeah, they got on board with it.
Whose side you with?
Yeah.
I remember
But
that.
again, I think it's connected to like so focused on what I want to do, what you want to do, because then you compartmentalize these things.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to relate this to this, right? But when you're challenged and when you challenge and you're challenged, right? Because if you bring something up that's true,
Yeah.
but then somebody can challenge you on it.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing because now you got to think about it, right? You got to go back. Okay, what are you trying to say, God?
Right.
How can I relate this? Like, what do you mean? How can I see it in a way I'm not seeing it, right? God teaches us because there's no secular or like there's no secular music.
Yeah, that's a made up term.
All music is spiritual.
Right.
It's just what
What
spirit,
spirit
are you
is
like?
it of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just put that there.
Yeah.
Right? To say this is this is this.
Compartmentalize.
We compartmentalize it, right?
Yeah.
And it's more for us to be able to judge and be comfortable with our judgments. Again, right? But that's again, you put it in its compartment and then it becomes harder to see how everything connects.
Okay.
Right? How everything unites, and then you don't know how to deal with all these things.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, from what you're telling me, aside from this, showing the young kids playing with that gun, like I said, I didn't get a chance to read the comments, but what you're saying, although these people put that up for whatever reason they did, immaturity, for clout chasing, however they did it, when the response came out, maybe they cared, maybe they didn't, but clearly there was a backlash.
Yeah.
There was people saying, this is wrong.
Now, I can't speak for the original posters because I haven't seen that. All I saw was the repost that was everyone was sharing. So
maybe they took it down, the original?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the original. I just saw the repost that everyone was sharing that was up on some like, hip hop Twitter channel that everyone was sharing, because some of these channels just post stuff for clicks. You know what I mean? Everyone was sharing this post from them, and all of those people were saying how
Wrong
terrible this was. So yeah, I mean the main consensus I saw from everything was that people were like, nah, this is not cool.
Right.
But I would love to see the original post and see like, yo, are people calling this out, or are they like laughing about it, thinking it's funny,
Right.
And I want to say this, like, the moment we other people, otherize or other, like the moment we say, oh, they're just crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just this, or
Yeah.
that's just that. We step outside of the conversation. We step outside of the responsibility, like just to be able to engage, not even to like take everything on. I'm saying just to engage, you step outside of that.
Yeah.
How can you even bring a solution to where you've already judged it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've already settled it in your mind.
Right.
Oh, they're just idiots. They're just this, they're just that. So we're definitely not. We're bringing light to it to say people need to engage.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to bring judgment. You need to judge. That's different. I'm not talking about condemnation where you condemn people.
Yeah.
Like, we're not condemning these people. We're saying we're judging what they're speaking about. We're judging the things they're saying. That's totally different because that's just about measuring, right? And we're saying that's hope. Condemnation is when somebody's so mad they're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
That's set judgment, right? That's what we talk. Condemnation, that's something totally different.
Yeah.
Or when you just say they're evil and there's nothing you can do for them.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, as a as a black man, we're sitting here.
Half Indian, half black. Spanish last.
I would say this, right? If we go off of the news media, it is just police. The police epidemic on black is what we hear. And what we never stop and take a chance is to take ownership of the traps we create for ourselves, because it absolves us of that. Because when the media sees an opportunity to spin a certain thing, they'll run with that. And here is a thing where, okay, fine, there could be accountability, like D1 is saying to them, hey, take accountability for music. There's a lot of things happening here, but it's also another element of where we have to, as black people, take and look at these very things that we love and what is it doing to our community? What is it doing to our community? And I'm not saying that we should, completely own Jim Jones or anything like that. I'm just saying what's happening in our own space.
You have to be honest about that.
Right.
Call these
Let's
things
be
out.
honest about this. That this is this, because I can't put Rick Ross and Jim Jones and say their music made little kids have this gun. But the culture around that does push this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when we see this and we see a violence, however it may be, and I'm not saying it's tied into that, but I'm just saying we have to take ownership of, if we're saying we're being brutalized by these agencies, then turn around and then do it to ourselves and preach that and advocate that and put it in music and say, that's how I make my money.
Right.
And I'm saying, you don't talk about my money, but you're doing the same exact thing.
Right.
We can't condemn them and then over here say this is okay, because we're killing ourselves too.
Yeah.
That's the issue that I have with this.
I just want to read this real quick. James 1. Know this, my beloved brothers. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. For the anger of men does not produce the righteousness of God. Therefore, put away filthiness rampant wickedness and receive with meekness the implanted word. See, so when the word comes, it doesn't feel good because it's dealing with what's impure in you, right? It's dealing with what's filthy in you.
Right.
But when you receive it and it takes root, something else grows.
Yeah.
And also on the other end, like I'm saying, I'm listening to him. I'm not like what we were just listening to with
Jim
Jones. I'm listening to him and hearing where he's coming from. And I'm saying that on purpose because I'm listening to the source, right? What, like, really hear people. You know what I mean? Like, I hear his hurt.
Yeah.
I hear his pain. You know what I mean? And we can talk, like, if we can have dialogue with people in that way, you can't be quick to be angry.
Yeah.
Because you can see where they're coming from. Every time, like, if you just say, I don't understand them, well, you just took yourself out of the conversation. But when you say, I don't understand them, but I want to see where they're coming from. I want to get to understand them.
Yeah.
Like, you can have conversations with people and not be threatened. What am I afraid of?
Right.
Why am I afraid to have a conversation with somebody? If I don't care about myself, I'm not trying to save myself.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm not trying to big up myself, if I just want to, if I trust God, then I don't got to prove myself.
Right.
Right? If I trust God, I don't got to prove the scriptures. I don't got to prove that I'm a Christian. And I don't got to prove what I believe in.
Right.
Because even if I don't know, but I believe that God is true, eventually I'm going to find out. So when somebody challenges me on something I don't know, I don't go be, and then I can go back and be calm and be patient.
Which is the mistake a lot of the older generation do, which is when they condemn, they don't give a vision of why.
Yeah.
They just said, this is stupid, that's stupid. Don't listen to that. But it's like when you sit down and you explain, sometimes it may not even be in that very moment that you're explaining it to a young person why something is wrong or doesn't make sense, but eventually it clicks off to them. Where, like you said, like it was your grandfather, said Martin?
Yeah.
Martin is stupid.
Yeah, he caught us watching Martin one time, and he was like, what are y'all watching? This is foolishness.
Right.
Yeah, if he would have like really sat us down and explained it, it would have been so much more helpful for us.
And we may not even have gotten it right then.
Right.
But eventually it would have made sense, And that's what it is. I think there's a dismissive nature of the elderly to say, that's dumb, that's stupid. And what you do as a child, because you're immature, right? When you're immature, what you're going to do is most kids are going to just
tune that out.
And they're just going to ignore
you. Don't get it.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's by, like you said, having this conversation. Like you were talking about your son. Now, you could yell at him and say, get your ass up at that bed and go.
Yeah.
You could do that, or you could start breaking down that. Now, you're approaching this age.
Yeah.
There's two ways you could do that.
Right.
Scream and yell at him and scare him, which build resentment towards you, or show him that you're leaving this stage and you're entering this stage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the same thing with music, movies, entertainment. When you just condemn things because you don't like it, and maybe you have every reason to not like it, but you don't show them how this is planting seeds in your life, that the benefits that comes out of this, or what you think is going to come out, is not what you want. You know.
And I think it's also about being honest about where you fell for the same thing you're trying to call out to
That's a
them
big one.
in your past.
Yes.
Like us pointing out, we made that video talking about all those songs that were about girls, and people,
What you really want.
Yeah, people don't want to hear that because we're like showing how goofy it is. You know what I mean?
Bro, I just watched this guy break down Whitney Houston.
I seen that.
Saving All My Love.
Yeah, Saving All My Love for You. I've seen this. People love that song.
But then here's what happened. People started breaking out all these songs that were more melodic, the harmonization.
So we accept them better.
We accept them better.
But they're about terrible
it's
ideas.
no different than Zuma Zoom and a Boom Boom.
Right.
Because she's saying, she's literally
Strangers in the Night.
Strangers in the Night.
One of your dad's favorite
One of my dad's first songs.
But you hear it with the melody.
This is better. Yeah. No, it's true. So when you really start looking into these things, this devil just isn't as ugly as that devil, but it's a devil.
But what allowed us to accept this ugly one is the small increments of ugly we've been accepting throughout the years that get you to here, and you have to be able to point that out.
And then But then it becomes beautiful.
Right. Then it becomes art. Right.
Right.
Then the evil, the ugliness becomes art.
Yeah.
But
What
art,
would you like?
No, I'm just thinking like art is culture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And man, that stuff this just reminds me, like it influences people. We seen it growing up. Like
Yeah.
we grew up in,
yeah.
Williamstown, suburban, middle class,
Well-to-do.
upper middle class. We saw that.
Yeah.
And something just happened, because I'm in the sports world. I watch things. Michael Irvin has a son who's a rapper.
I saw this.
You saw that?
It's like Tarantino.
Tarantino. And he was like, he called his son out.
Yeah, he did.
On live broadcast. He was like, son, you grew up in the. He talks about his music. He has guns in his videos.
Yeah.
Like, you grew up in a gated community.
Yeah.
He's not even
all
that.
your life. You don't know that. That's what I knew. He grew up in the hood or whatever
Right.
like that. Like, why are you
But
doing
who was that
that?
basketball player that did the same thing?
John Morant.
Yeah.
John Morant.
John Morant,
who,
yeah.
who was an amazing player.
But what does that do? It's because the culture becomes their god.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
I have
culture,
to
yeah.
prove
Prove,
myself to the culture.
If you don't put something in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the problem is you can give them money. They can be raised up in
The gated
communities.
Yeah.
Silver spoon.
But they need something internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need something deep to ground them.
Yeah.
Right? If they don't have that.
Yeah, and that's not just black culture. That's because you see that in rich white kids
Yeah.
and rich
Yeah.
Asian
Yep.
kids. You see that
Yep.
all the time. It's just their parents provide them with a lifestyle.
Yeah.
They didn't provide them with lessons.
Right.
You know what I mean? Life lessons.
It's just that the difference in with the young black kids is that the culture pushes them in such a destructive way where it's like glorifying death
and it's geared to and it's violence towards each other.
Yes, exactly. So you have this like self-destructive kind of attitude towards things. That's crazy. All right, it's over 2 hours. We can wrap it up there. We hit a lot on that topic. That was a good discussion.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who's been watching. Oh, I want to play one more video that I got from Twitter. This will be one of the clips that I probably make for. I got to have my clips that are like. These are like my pay attention clips that they always go viral. Man.
Message.
Yeah, it's like you didn't know about this. It's a pay attention. So this is about a little girl. Her name's Elise, by the way. And she was doing a project, and she exposed what she found. Check this out. Come on,
I think I've seen this.
You seen this?
Yeah. President?
Huh?
Get out. So this was a video referred to me by a mentor and friend. You will not believe this. I love it.
A potato to grow vines.
Sounds so simple and innocent, doesn't it?
Me and my grandma went to the grocery store to get some potatoes. A sweet potato. All you do is put a sweet potato in a glass of water and wait for it to grow vines.
Keep watching, okay?
We took a sweet potato and waited for 3 weeks. Nothing happened. We took another potato and waited for 3 more weeks. Nothing happened. So we talked to the produce man at the store, and he said, well, these don't ever grow vines at the farms. They spray them with a chemical called bud nip. These are one of our organic sweet potatoes. In over a month, it finally grew these wimpy little vines.
Wimpy.
Over that time, we went to Rex Market, Rex Organic Food Market, and got a sweet potato there. It only took 1 week for it to sprout. Look at it now. I just found it takes a little fun.
It's crazy.
And there's a chemical that they put on vegetables.
Look at that.
They also spray bud nip on blueberries, carrots, onions, spinach, tomatoes, beets, and cranberries.
Did you hear what she said? Bud nip. I've never heard of this before.
Bud nip goes through the whole vegetable. So So washing it won't make a difference. It's also called chlorproofing. Chlorproofing can kill animals that they've tested it on. It can even cause tumors. With all of the chemicals, no wonder so many people are getting diagnosed with cancer. Which potato would you rather eat?
Yeah. We can learn something from everybody, guys. She's brilliant, this little girl, and I'm so glad that series.
I mean, I'm sure she decided to do that all by herself.
All by herself.
Yeah, but you know what's sad about this for me?
What?
Is I remember watching this thing on Vladimir Putin banning.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've
Right?
talked about that on here.
So
Banning
can we just
GMOs.
explain this? If you're gonna do it for a clip, because it's hard to hear.
Yeah.
So can you just explain it? A
So
little bit?
she was doing an experiment where she got a sweet potato. I've done this in school before, where you just
Yeah.
put it in water and
we
you let
did
it
this.
sprout. And I remember as a kid, we just got stuff from the store and put it in water, and it would sprout. It would sprout in a couple days. It would sprout and start to grow roots, and then you could plant it if you wanted to. These were experiments we all did in school. So I guess this little girl tried to do it with a sweet potato, and it wouldn't sprout. Wouldn't sprout. They finally asked the president of produce, and they say, well, these plants are sprayed with a chemical called budnip. And I think this is the one that Bill Gates is involved with. Have you guys been hearing about this? Like Bill Gates is involved with like some fruit, some produce coating that he has the patent on. But so they spray it with that, but think about it. Why do they do that? Because it probably lasts longer on the shelves. It probably keeps it from having blemishes. Like, because when it starts to sprout, no one will buy it.
Yeah.
So
it's called She said it, but it's called
chlorophram.
Chloroprofam.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they use it on alfalfa, lima beans, snap beans, blueberries,
Yeah.
cane
It's a
fruit,
vegetable
carrots.
sterilizer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's basically doing.
But she said it goes through the entire plant.
Of course.
And it is known to have bad effects on the body. So you can't wash it off. And
Might as well not wash.
But it's just something for people to be aware of. Like, even our produce is infected. Like, especially if you're just buying stuff off the shelf at Walmart or any regular supermarket. Even like some of the first organic one that she tried to grow only sprouted a little bit after a month.
Yeah,
because that becomes a marketing thing.
Yeah,
it's organic.
So
Is
you
it
have
really?
to. We have to get back to, like, that's another example how far we've gotten away from, like, how much we've given up for convenience and how far we've gotten away from what real food is. And, how the effects it can have on our body. All these things are affecting us. You look at fertility rates. You look at all of these issues that women are having. Like, I sent Jake a video of this woman testifying in front of Congress talking about how much miscarriages they've been having.
Yeah,
you
crazy.
know, how the numbers are up astronomically.
100%.
Yeah. Like, numbers are up astronomically in miscarriages and in hysterectomies. And it's not just because these hospitals want money. It's because women are, like, having issues with bleeding.
Yeah.
Younger women in their 40s.
That's because there's so much poison and everything.
Exactly.
They're trying to kill. I mean,
And that on top of the vaccines, too, have been, like, are a major issue.
The FDA here, approves a lot.
Yeah.
You were speaking on Bill Gates. I saw something on Twitter about how Italy is the first country to ban fake meat now.
Oh,
which
really?
Bill Gates is a part of.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because people are starting to see how horrible it is for you.
Putin.
Yeah.
He banned GMOs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, U.S.
I saw a thing on they were showing meats and how they put magnet on it, and the magnet stayed right on it.
Oh yeah.
Right, because it's all
The metals.
It's in Walmart. Yeah.
Ugh.
My gosh, man.
Yeah. So we have to pay attention to these things. We have to watch what we're eating. We have to
vegetable
Watch what
gardens.
you're eating. Everything is infected because that's what they want. They want to kill people.
But that's what I'm saying. We have to at least start paying attention. you know,
Let's get our acres.
start get our farm.
Let's get our acres.
Farm.
You got even the seeds are compromised now though.
Yeah.
Like the seed, most of the seeds are Monsanto GMO seeds. So we gotta
We gotta stay prayed up.
Stay prayed up, but we also have to pay attention and be mindful.
That's why it's so hard to believe when people say, I'm not advocating, I'm just saying, when people say this person is evil, but like I said, all right, but there's a lot of things that's done here in this country where these corporations with these seeds and these things that they know is affecting people, they have to know.
Right.
Of course they know.
Like I said, you guys should definitely watch that movie, Pain Hustlers.
Yeah. I actually just watched the one Pain Killers.
I wonder.
It was about the Sackler family.
Is it Matthew Broderick?
Matthew Broderick plays.
Is that a series or a show?
It's a series, but it's about how the Sackler family basically tricked the FDA into approving OxyContin as a drug, and like how they sold it to all the pharmaceutical companies with using young college girls to like go around to all these houses.
Same thing.
Yeah,
same thing.
Is it the one where the black girl is narrating?
Yes, she's like the lawyer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's it
but
called?
it's called Painkillers.
Painkillers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah,
it was good.
But it's the same thing.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah, this one is more like. It's more like localized.
Okay.
It's I think it's about fentanyl.
Mm.
But yeah, it's the same. It's around the
Same
same type of thing.
Yeah.
Right? This
Tricking the public into thinking that this is a safe drug, lying about using, fake studies, all that stuff.
But what was interesting with this one that I don't know if you noticed, but it was about like even the guy who invented this thing, he was like his wife died from cancer and he saw the pain that she went through.
Mm-hmm.
So his focus was to get people out of that pain, right? And again, that's when you're focused so much on doing something like that, like pain. Now you miss all the flaws, right? You miss it becomes your God. Like you're thinking about, well, no, we just got to make this happen, right?
Yeah.
We got to do this one thing, and you become so compartmentalized, right? And then when it actually happens, like this dude went crazy.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
The doctor guy who was like in charge of the whole thing. He went
just
crazy.
He just wanted to be the guy that solves the
Yeah. Make a name for himself. Wow. I'm going to check it out. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate everyone who has been there the whole time. Shout out to all the Patreon members for tuning in and being lively in the chat. We appreciate y'all. Don't forget, if you want to support the pride of the Young Lions and want to become a part of this, you can sign up for as little as $3 a month. You can hit our Patreon, which you see at the bottom of the screen. It's also a link in the description, and you can go over there and sign up to become a member. And also, don't forget, we got merch, we got music, we got all kind of stuff. If you want to support, also on the Cash App, that would be greatly appreciated as well. But the best thing you can do is like and share the video to help us with the algorithm, where they're trying to tell us no one's watching, but obviously people are watching because they're commenting.
It's crazy.
But yeah, shout out to everybody who's been with us. And man, let's do it again next week. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see y'all then. Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people.